Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? I guess I'm doing the intro. We lost Jeff.
It happens. I kind of thought there might be something happening there.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Anyway, thanks for joining 4C Comics Live. Tonight we have our first of the year, actually. We got all the way to July before we actually got our first National Cartoon Society Foundation charity sketch up. I know we talked a lot about a lot of the guys who are supposed to be doing it with us. We're going to get them rolling more now. It was just very hectic and a lot of stuff going on. So we'll be definitely doing more of the National Cartoon Society Foundation charity ops today. And without further ado, let's bring on our guest of honor, Mr. Matt Wagner. How you doing,
everybody?
sir?
Hi, Matt.
So thank you so much for doing this. It's really means a lot to myself and obviously the National Cartoon Society Foundation for creators to come on and give us the opportunity to help raise some money for the foundation. So thank you so much.
Well, I got to give a little shout out to Bill Morrison, who's the one that actually extended the invitation. So props to Bill.
Bill is the our booking coordinator for all of this fun stuff.
Yeah, look at that.
Since he is the vice president of the society, so we had to put him to work.
Well, it worked.
Yeah, but he's a great guy. We don't want to talk too much about him because you say his name 3 times, he ends up popping in. So real quick, I'm just going to run down for anybody who's new here. We'll go over the claim system, how it works. All right, so we use a live claim system. Claims are accepted after the claim banner is displayed. If there are fewer than 3 claims, then whoever does whoever has the first claim in gets the spot. If it's more than 3 claims, we go to a wheel spin for up to 5. And when you win a claim, it is a commitment to buy. So my daughter is actually working behind the scenes. Don't be surprised if you make claims. She reaches out to you instantly and tries to get your information so she can shoot you an invoice. If you haven't purchased from us before, you can shoot us an email. We'll put that email on the screen if we don't recognize who you are about how you can make your claims. And Jeff is back. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, what he said.
And for people who don't know Jeff or Ken, can you just tell a little bit about what the society does, what the Cartoonist Society is, and where this money goes?
Well, the National Cartoonist Society is a society of cartoonists to, get together and have fun. And they have the foundation, which is the charitable arm of the society. And they donate money everywhere. Heroes Initiative and many other things. I mean, they give money direct. And Bill was telling me how, I don't remember the creator's name, but when he's out in California, he'll actually go and take the gentleman out to lunch, buy him groceries and things like that. And that's all money that comes out of the foundation. So they do a lot to help the creators that are in need and things like that. So,
I do lots of work with the Hero Initiative.
Yeah. So they raise a lot of money for that. And during the Reuben Awards, they have a big charity auction, and all that money goes to the foundation. So we're going to talk a lot about that in the near future too.
And to answer some questions in the chat, when you see a claim sign appear down below, that's when you claim. And as Ken said, if you just joined us, claims anything 3 to 5, they'll go to a wheel, or over 3, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So if it's over 3 people, we're going to go to the fates.
Right.
And we lost Jeff again.
No, he's there. I'm just rearranging the screen here, trying to figure out which one looks the best.
Jeff's there, but he's turned it.
He's sideways. And he's muted. He's here in spirit. There he goes.
And so our options tonight are 6x9 ink bus for $300 and color for $400, as you can see below. And just remember that all claims come with 4% processing fee and $25 shipping.
And
thank you, Becker.
There it is. This one.
1, 2. Oh, there they all come.
Jesus.
Oh, yeah, we have way more than 5.
We've got quite a few. So where's the line? Because I think some people were jumping the gun. Is Jonathan Rowland the first one?
No, Philip Quattrone.
Philip. So Ken, it's Philip, John
Where'd Ken go? Oh, he's off screen. All right. You can still hear us, though.
Yeah, keep going. I'm listening.
Philip John Gates, and then Jonathan Rowland. And then David and Avi gets number 5. West Coast Bacon.
All righty.
So
Yeah,
apparently
maybe on
my
the next.
apparently my signal here keeps crapping out on me. I totally apologize. Thank you guys for picking up my slack, and I'm sorry for being on location and having it worked completely fine until the show started.
I was just going to ask how the wheel gets spun. There we go.
There it is.
So we have the wheel, and we're going to spin that in a minute. And Jeff, that's all right, man. We'll carry you. We got you, buddy.
Please. Thank you, sir. John G.
All right, John G. So let us know what you'll be getting and what option, ink or color. We'll just have that come in. And also, for anybody that has any questions for Matt tonight, we also have that going while you draw, Matt. People put in questions in the chat.
Yeah, I can multitask.
All righty. Perfect.
Let's see.
And
there we
6x9 bust of Etrigan the Demon. Matt provided my favorite version of the character.
Oh, nice.
And does he want the black and white or the color?
Well, just wait 1 second. John didn't list that.
Oh,
there's some wonderful examples
here.
guys.
Yeah,
Look at that.
so that's the difference.
The price is who was it? Philip?
He's going to do black and
John
white.
G.
Oh, John G.
Black and white.
Yeah. So it's 300 for inks, 400 for color, guys.
Amelia, with our first question tonight, what is Matt's favorite character to draw?
Oh, Grendel, of course.
Yeah.
But I like kind of whatever I'm working on at the moment. Part of being able to sustain a career in comics is you kind of gotta like what you're doing at any given moment. I've just been lucky in that I've had a long career of being able to do my own thing. So so Grendel's usually right at the top of the list there, or Kevin Matchstick from Mage. Have a certain.
There you go. That would be mine.
One, so. Okay, so John wants Etrigan and just a black and whitey, yeah?
Yep.
That's right.
Avi asks, in preparation of hopefully winning a spot, Matt's favorite Batman character.
You mean other than Batman himself?
Yeah, Avi collects Batman villains or other characters from the story. So,
well, obviously I have a fondness for Two-Face since my first Batman. My first Batman story was Faces for Legend of the Dark Knight with Two-Face. And other than that, I'd say Grendel.
exactly.
Batman has fought Grendel twice now, 2 different versions.
Javi says Etrigan is a great choice, and people are starting to move over to YouTube. Yeah, I do believe some people find that they have a little quicker claiming time on YouTube. David asks, is Matt coloring or Brennan?
It's me, and it's a limited color palette, so it's 2 shades of gray and red. If you guys keep flashing up those examples I sent you earlier, you'll see the ones that.
Yeah, guys, it's not full color. I'm sorry, I meant to say that in the post earlier today. It's just a couple of splashes, right? So
yeah.
Like this Batman is technically colored. So is the Daredevil. So that's kind of what you're gonna get.
And then let's see.
Any more questions, guys? Pop them in the chat. Matt's happy to answer anything.
And then I do have a question for how we're doing this one, just because it kind of varies week to week. Is Matt doing the entire sketch now, or is he just kind of laying down?
I'm going to get probably, I would say, 60 to 80% of it done. And then we'll open it up to another
The next one.
Another claim, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Excellent.
Sounds good.
And I will keep, as soon as I get something recognizable here, I'll keep flipping this around so we can see the progress as it goes.
Sure.
And John asks, could Matt give a little history behind his Etrigan miniseries? I was always super curious on how he got the gig.
How I got the gig was I was at a convention in Atlanta many, many, many years ago. And these are the days when cons were so small that they would take all the guests out to dinner at once because there were only, 20 of us maybe, And I happened to get seated next to Dick Giordano, and we proceeded to get pretty drunk together. And he knew Mage. I was working on Mage at the time, and was getting some attention from that. And he, as the evening was wrapping up, I was living in Philadelphia at the time, and he said, "Come up to New York, give me a pitch on something." And so the first pitch I took him was for a new version of Batgirl. This was just before Killing Joke, and this is when Geraldine Ferraro was running for vice president. So I had Barbara Gordon running for Senate to make it topical, and there was a series of murders on the campaign trail, and she turns to one of her trained bodyguards to kind of become the new Batgirl to track down the killer. And unfortunately, they had just approved Alan Moore's script for Killing Joke, where he paralyzes Barbara Gordon, so that was out. But he said, "But what else do you like?" I said, "Well, I love the Demon because I was just the right age to love all that Kirby stuff when he first went to DC in the 70s. I loved OMAC. I loved the Demon. I liked the New God stuff, although it mystified me. It was a little too sophisticated for me at that age, but I knew it was something I should like. As it turns out, what was it? Probably 7th or 8th grade in art class, I did an acrylic recreation of Kirby's first Demon cover, where he's kind of like coming down the castle wall towards all the pitchforks and such.
Great cover.
And this was just shortly after Alan and Steve Bissett and Toddleton had Etrigan appear in Swamp Thing, and Alan gave him that incredibly cool concept of having him being a rhyming demon that he spoke in rhyme, which of course was not in the original Kirby version. And so I went home and I came up with a demon concept to kind of really, really portray him as a demon. In doing my research for it, I found a woodcut from a medieval book on demonology, and it looked exactly like Etrigan. He even had yellow skin in the printing version that I saw it in, and it was supposed to be the demon Belial. So I came up with this whole thing about how Belial was Etrigan's father, and it all went from there.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
Wow. And a few people work.
I love doing research for my projects. So. And
who was the one? Somebody said, "Dang, that would have been a great story about your Batman story." Oh, Batgirl story. PJ Smalls says, "I'm trying to catch back. My chat looks different than what they see." So John Stevenson says, "I was lucky enough to get a Mage postcard from you a while back. That was nice. So thanks for doing that."
Sure. I've done that with all the Mage series. Anybody that writes into the book, I have a postcard that I send back to you. This was for the most recent one. for The Hero Denied, the third Mage series.
That's cool.
There we go.
Very nice. Curtis, he's gonna show you some process as he goes. He'll hold it up to the screen. But right now we want to see his face while he talks to us. So
Very lightly penciled. Hard to see it at that stage, but
I saw some teeth.
Kirk,
yeah, he's got teeth, yeah.
Kirk Fredericks asked, does Matt have a favorite Grendel to draw? If I get a chance to have a drawing done, I'm going to pick Epi.
Oh, yeah, Epi's a blast to draw. Hunter Rose is probably my favorite. But I'm working on right now the sequel to the most recent Grendel Prime series, which was called Devil's Odyssey, which was basically Grendel Prime in outer space. And the sequel is called Devil's Crucible, which Dark Horse is breaking up into 3 different 4-issue series. So it has like 4 distinct kind of narrative arcs with some cool surprises. But yeah, so drawing a lot of Grendel Prime right now too, and he's just a blast. So, but Epi's a completely different ball of wax, of course.
John
And speaking
says,
of Grendel, I have the next thing coming out is in October. So for the 40th anniversary, what we wanted to do, which was last year, we wanted to do something special. And I was trying to do something that kind of honored the history of Grendel, yet kind of presented something brand new as well. And it struck me that the original Grendel story arc, which first was published in the back pages of Mage and later collected into what became Devil by the Deed, the first Grendel graphic novel. Since it was serialized in 4-page segments, it's only 37 pages long. And considering what a kind of monumental story it was, the legacy it spawned, I mean, literally hundreds of pages of Grendel narrative following that, dozens of different incarnations of the character. It just seemed strange to me that, wow, that's really only 37 pages long, huh? And of course, I'd gone back to the character of Hunter Rose again and again over the years. So I decided, I pitched this to Dark Horse and they thought it was a great idea. Let me go back and completely redo it. I was 25 years old when I did it the first time. Of course, there's decades since then. I've become a much more accomplished artist since then. I have a different understanding of the character since then. Coming out in October in a hardcover format is what we're calling Devil by the Deed Masters Edition. And it's all completely new. It's the same general story, but fleshed out a whole lot. It's now 121 pages instead of 37 pages. And it's published in black, white, and red. It's the coloring is done by Brennan, my son Brennan, and just completely retells the story from a more modern perspective, from a more modern creator, a more accomplished creator. And I got to say, I'm really, really proud of it. I think it looks great. Coming in October, there's a standard hardcover edition, a limited slipcase edition, and then a super limited edition, which unfortunately is all sold out. It's sold out in an hour, which was sold through Dark Horse Direct, and it's a limited edition with a slipcover and a little portfolio inside, because each and every book, and there's only 12 of them, comes with an original sketch by me as well. So you'll have to look for those on eBay someday, because they're all gone now. But the standard edition is still available, as is the limited edition with the slipcover.
John asks or says, thanks. As I mentioned in my previous comment, I love, oh, here we go.
Coming along.
I love Matt's version of the character. Your version of Etrigan looks a little more demonic than some of the other great versions done by Val, Kirby, and John McRae. Emilio, I'm catching up here. Emilio asks, is there any characters Matt would have liked to done that he never got to do, or like your Batgirl pitch just didn't happen? Wrong time?
I would like to do some more Superman. The only chance I got to... I've had 2 chances to do Superman. And that... Oh, hang on. I got a cat. I'll get a dog back here. All right. The only time I got to do Superman was in the pages of Trinity, and I had a lot of fun with the character there. And then I did an homage to the Fleischer cartoons in DC's recent Superman Red and Blue series that was out. Was it about a year ago? I think, yeah.
Yeah, maybe 2.
The only problem is I would want to do it as a period piece. I have a real thing about this in that I find that almost all pop culture characters really work best in the time period they were created. Even though I think the Benedict Cumberbatch version of Sherlock Holmes is kind of fun. Sherlock Holmes really only works in Victorian London. The Shadow, particularly, and I love The Shadow, as most people know. The Shadow only works in the 30s. It only works in a day when every man on the street had a hat on. Otherwise, you're like, hey, who's that bozo in the big floppy hat? It also only works in a day when New York still had shadows, when the streets were shadowy. I don't know if you've been to New York anytime recently. The entire city's lit up like a pinball machine, Superman, everybody always makes fun of, just a pair of glasses, how's that going to disguise a secret identity? Well, back in the 30s, people were not photographed all the time. My parents are back from that generation, and in their younger days, I only have 1 or 2 existing photos of them. Similarly, Batman. I mean, how could a character like that exist nowadays in the days when literally every person carries a camera on them? TMZ's scoping around for information on dirt on any famous person. Yeah, it just doesn't work. That's why, to my mind, the X-Men kind of usurped that position. The characters who desperately want anonymity and want a secret identity and are basically denied the opportunity, So if I did a Superman story, I'd want to set it back in the 30s, and I'm pretty sure DC has no interest in letting me do that. So.
Did I freeze or did Matt?
Pretty sure you froze.
Yep, I was kind of figuring I did. My apologies.
Becca, when are you going to put some of those walls?
I need to. But I have our next question. Rom 2814. I know the Mage cycle wrapped up, but would you ever go back and do stories that took place earlier, sort of like how Moorcock did with Elric?
It's funny he should ask that. I'm reading some of those right now. I don't know, possibly. At this point, I feel like the Mage series wrapped up so well for me in my mind and in my for my artistic purposes that at this point I'm not considering doing anymore. But I know better than to never say never. It might be that suddenly I just get the urge to do more Mage stories. Perhaps I will. At this point, the only thing that goes on and on and on and on and on for me is Grendel. And the reason for that is that it spans many different time periods, so I can have many different Grendels. So it kind of escapes that trap I was just talking about there of taking place in the time period you're created in.
Kirk Frederick says, I tried really hard to pick up the Masters edition with your sketch in it, but at LE of 10, limited edition of 10. I missed it from Dark Horse. We're sorry to hear that, Kirk.
12. It was 12. Edition of 12. And another neat thing about that edition is it comes with a little half-length comic book in it that is all 12 of the sketches. So you get your one original sketch, and then you get a little book that shows all 12 of them.
Mike asks, I was asking about the new, oh, he was responding to somebody else, but he's asking about the new Grendel Prime book. When will that be released?
So again, the Masters edition of Devil by the Deed comes out in October. Devil's Crucible, the next Grendel Prime book, will be sometime after that. I'm really far ahead on it production-wise. I've got the first 7 completed out of 12. So that it'll be coming pretty soon.
And Linda Craig says, I liked Matt's work on Zorro. Does he have a favorite Zorro actor?
I have several favorite Zorro actors. I would say Tyrone Power probably is the lead, who started in the 1941 version of The Mark of Zorro. But I have a special love in my heart for the very first version, The Mark of Zorro from 1919, I think, with Douglas Fairbanks Sr. It's a real anachronistic sort of thing. It's a blast. There's a scene towards the beginning where he these soldiers are in an inn, and they're, the one kind of blowhard Sergeant Gonzalez is talking about, what he'd do if he ever met, Zorro, and then Zorro kind of pops in and surprises them all, and when he enters, he's got his cape up like Dracula, like Batman eventually adopted this sort of look, and when he flings down his cape, he's huffing on a cigarette and very rakishly, It's just a different view of what it means to be a dashing hero than nowadays.
Well, you're good at fencing when you can, intimidate your foes and get that cigarette in.
Yeah, exactly. But man, there's a chase sequence in the middle of that where he challenges the soldiers. He leaves them a note pinned to a tree that's with his sword, and it says, "This is my last sword. I've gone into the village to have breakfast. Come catch me if you can." And there's like a 10-minute chase sequence that's just magnificent, full of humor and absolutely kinetic action, and Fairbanks doing all his own stunts, climbing buildings, leaping from building to building. There's one scene where he's riding along on a horse. There's a rope hanging down, and he gets up. He stands up in the saddle, and he grabs the rope as the horse goes dashing by, so that he's swept up like this on the from his momentum on the rope. And then the soldiers come down below, and he swings back this way. And there's no CGI there. There's no setups. They are just doing all that, and it's a blast. I also dearly love the Mask of Zorro, the kind of follow-up adventure starring Antonio Banderas as the new Zorro, and Anthony Hopkins as the previous Zorro, Diego de la Vega. It's just a terrific example of that older hero passing on the torch to a younger hero. One of the best examples of that, I think, period.
I'm trying to remember which movie I watched a lot as a kid. And I think oh, wow.
That looks great.
I feel like people should start getting their claims typed in. Because feel like I know Ken.
I got another cool story about Zorro in that, of course, I wrote the with Quentin Tarantino. I wrote the Django Zorro crossover from a number of years ago, and that was that came about as a result of Nick Barucci, the guy that owns Dynamite, was really good friends with Reggie Hudland, who was the producer on Django Unchained, and they came to me and said, "We're trying to line up a Django Zorro crossover. Would you be interested in writing that with Quentin? Co-writing that with Quentin?" And I was like, "Well, that's never going to happen, but yeah, sure, great, yeah, sure." And forgot all about it. And about, I don't know, 2 months later or so, they called me again. They said, we sent Quentin all your Zorro stuff, and he loves it, and he wants you to come down to his house like next weekend." And I was like, "Well, all right, cool." I kept saying to my wife, "This is going to fall through at any minute. This is never truly going to happen, you know." And no, by God, it all came through, and I flew down to L.A. and went up to his house, and he met me at the door himself. Took me to show me where he keeps his comics right away. But we spent 2 days alternately watching movies in his screening room, and then going up to his back patio to kind of hammer out the story together. And we watched a few chapters of some old Zorro serials, so that was pretty cool.
That's cool.
And we're getting some questions about the claim process. The claim, you wait for this right here where it says claim available for Matt Wagner. The line is down below, so now we will take up to the first 5 claims and go to a wheel.
Right. I am almost done with this one, so why don't we get the next claim up and rolling?
Yep, we've got it.
We like to pop the claims up.
Are you ready?
Oh,
are
Jesus.
you ready for the names? Because there's a ton of them, Ken.
I only lost 5 of them.
All right. Avi.
So the first 5: Avi, Kirk, Ram, PJ, and Philip is what I have. Philip Q.
Yep.
Holy moly, guys. That's the most claims I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, that went fast. I like the claim line, Ken.
I tried. The minute that Ken popped it, I tried to get it in there.
Oh, that was you?
Yeah.
Well done. That really helped keep it sorted from people trying to jump it.
That's a good idea. We should start doing that. All right, ready to spin?
Yep.
We're ready to go.
And then David Lamb, it might show up first on yours. However, we have like a master of everything, and he did pop up before you. I'm sorry.
And who did we have? I missed it.
Kirk.
So Kirk, get your order in 6x9, either a $300 ink or $400 limited color.
I think Kirk already told us what he wanted earlier, but yeah, color or inks.
Nope, I need it again. My brain is not happy with me.
Epi is Grendel in color.
Epi in color.
Epi in color. All right, I'm gonna go back and try to get where we were in the comments.
Good luck.
Yeah, guys, I'm gonna do my best tonight.
I'm trying to catch up for you too. Give me a sec.
I've got it. I'm back where we were. So Kirk Fredericks, funny, he's the one who won. The Shadow versus Grendel was a great story. I have a piece of your original art from that series. It also introduced me to the Shadow as a character.
Great. Is there a question with that or just a comment?
No, I think it was just a comment. I just try to get everybody represented.
I'll a little my history with the Shadow. My parents were a World War II generation. They were slightly older when they had me. I was an only child. And they told me about listening to the radio for entertainment. You'd listen to these shows. And The Shadow, of course, is one of the most popular radio shows of all time, radio dramas of all time, because it had the brilliant concept of having a character you couldn't see, a character that was invisible for an invisible medium that was just sound. Here is the finished.
Oh wow, look at that.
That's amazing.
Can somebody find out whether this person would like it personalized or just signed? I can do either one. It's up to the buyer.
John, let us know if you want it personalized or signed only in the comments, please.
And then in the 70s, DC, of course, launched their famous.
Just signed, please.
Just signed. Gotcha. DC launched their famous Shadow series, written by Denny O'Neil and featuring the art of Mike Kaluta. And there was an ad that started running through all the DC books, and I only vaguely knew who the Shadow was from the catchphrase "The Shadow knows," But here he was, and he was holding two guns. And in those days in comics, characters didn't use guns. Heroes didn't use guns, And so it was intriguing, and so that series came out around the same time. All of a sudden, you could get at record stores. You could get old episodes of the radio show on LP vinyl. So I bought up a bunch of those. And then about a year or so after that, a group called Pyramid Books started republishing a bunch of the original pulp stories, featuring these just incredibly beautiful painted covers by Jim Steranko. So I just got a boom, 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 three big punches of the Shadow all in the space of a couple of years during very impressionable years for me. So I just always have loved the Shadow and really appreciated the character. So when the opportunity came up to possibly do a crossover with the Shadow and Grendel, I was very excited about it. After I did the Batman Grendel crossovers previously, I got approached about doing a lot of crossovers with Grendel, and my attitude was always kind of like, well, after Batman, where do you go? You can only go down or sideways. But the Shadow, of course, was such a huge inspiration for Batman, and of course, I had always loved the character, so that one lured me out of my reticence of doing any more Grendel crossovers.
Right. So Pop Warner Comics says, Demon, I've got issue 1, page 1, original art in my collection. Awesome sketch. Mm-hmm. Was that my next comment, Bacon? So I don't have to try to go back up.
I skipped a few, but I posted them on the stream.
Okay. And if we missed you guys, sorry. Obviously, there's a lot coming in here. So now I'm in the part where people are talking about not being able to get in on time. Just watch that line. Watch that line. Okay, gotcha. Speaking of Quentin,
Matt said that when he's like 60 to 80% done, if he shows you that, that's when Ken's gonna pop up a claim. So just keep an eye out on that, okay?
And if your lag is slow, look at the comments, and when you see the line come through, at least on YouTube, go.
If you come in before the line, we will not be going with it. So it's going to be after the line. John says, speaking of Quentin in comics, there was a period where he was working on a Luke Cage film with Lawrence Fishburne. Well, I think I heard that a long time ago.
That was another thing that made me suspect of the Django Zorro project coming together, because Quentin dabbles in a lot of projects that never quite come to fruition. So I was just surprised that this all did.
Yeah, that's super cool. Pretty impressive comic book collection.
It was all 70s stuff. It was all there's no big surprise, right? And and he had just gotten back from San Diego, and he had bought up a bunch of the Marvel black and white mags from the 70s. So, Rampaging Hulk, Tales of the Zombie, Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, that kind of stuff. And I loved those too. He and I are similar ages, so our point of references were very similar. And I said to him later, I was like, wait a minute, you went around shopping at San Diego? How the hell did that happen? I mean, how are you able to do that? He's such a famous dude, right? And he's very recognizable, And he was wearing a Mexican wrestling mask.
That's
Didn't
funny.
Brian
Well, do what
Cranston?
you got to do, right? Whatever works.
Didn't
I was
Brian
there
Cranston
again when he
go
did
up in
that.
San Diego with a Brian Cranston mask on?
Yeah, so
Yes.
for the last year of it was the last year of what's that, Breaking
Breaking
Bad,
Bad.
and he had like a photorealistic mask on, and he walked the halls of Comic-Con with his photorealistic mask of himself.
Of himself, of Brian
Yeah.
Cranston? Oh, that's hilarious.
And then he
That's
took it
kind
off.
of genius.
Yeah, he's like, there are a couple people who took pictures of me. Little did they know it was really me.
So
But yeah.
Pop Warner Comics says, how did you land on Art Nichols to ink the demon over Rich Rankin?
I didn't. It was not my decision. So that was a torturous process because I was just this young indie fucker. I didn't have any idea how things were done in the real world of comics. And they were so used to the way they did everything that they didn't have any idea how to deal with me either. So Rich was slated to ink the series. He inked the first issue, and Giordano didn't like it. And so I went up to New York, and he had it completely re-inked by Alfredo Acala. And Alfredo's a terrific artist, but boy, there was just nothing about me recognizable in that at all anymore. It looked like it was drawn by Alfredo. So eventually they landed on art. I don't know how. There were several other instances where it was just like, yeah, boy, that was just not a good mix, me and DC at that point. It got better over the years.
Emilio asks, what types of pencils/pens do you like to use?
So I ink with these. They are a Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen. I particularly like the 1.5, which is called the Bullet Nib. Pencils, I just use a regular old HB. Nothing fancy.
And Kirk says, do you and Brennan ever disagree on color palettes for Grendel art?
Not very often. We don't often, on occasion, I'll I'll say that when we do disagree, the boss always wins. But very often we'll only have the very slightest discussion about kind of what it ought to look like, and he goes away and does something, and on occasion he comes back with something that's like, wow, that's not what I was picturing at all, and I like it better than what I had in mind. So that's always like just really, really gratifying. At this point, we have a real good understanding of each other's needs. We kind of speak the same creative language. It's a pretty good, pretty synchronistic working relationship.
Avi says, I have to ask the 4C standard weirdest commission request.
Wait, we haven't done that question in so long. Avi, thank you so much.
Boy,
we did it recently.
I think we had an Andrew Peepoy on. Basically, he said he would draw anything. So that's why he got glazed over.
Yeah, I don't draw everything. I kind of draw the line. Occasionally you get people come up want you to draw their character. I have this character, draw it, and I'm just like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. That's I'm not a pair of hands to draw your ideas. That's if you want something that's part of my milieu, my published history, fine. But I remember, I also do, in addition to doing commission work, I do freebie head sketches at cons for anybody that wants it. Just give me a backing board. It's just a quick little scribble, but anybody that asks for one, you get a freebie. Mm-hmm. And it's just, my stuff tends to be rather expensive, and this is just a way to, if you can't afford to have me do a commission, here you can get a little scribble, and it's good.
Yeah.
And this one guy, real smarmy kind of young guy, he said, "How about a nice piece of pie? Like, draw me a piece of pie." And I just said, "Nah, not doing that."
We used to have a guy when we first started 4C. He always got toasters.
Toasters, yeah. There's one guy I've done things for over the years. Pretty sure he gets me at San Diego most of the time. Anyway, his name is Cliff, and he gets drawings of people dangling off cliffs.
Oh, okay.
All right, I dig it. Are you going to San Diego?
Sorry?
Are you going to San Diego?
No. Thank goodness. I'm going, when San Diego's going on, I'll be basking at this beautiful lake in Northern California.
Thank
Much
goodness.
better option.
I like that response, though. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
All right. Pop Warner Comics. Okay, random mage question. What did Kevin Matchstick do for a living? I mean, I know he calls in sick to Cooch in issue 2, but it is never actually mentioned. Always been curious. Thank you, Fred.
And you're not going to find out.
I kind of had a feeling that's where we were headed.
It helps keep him as an everyman, That was very deliberate that you don't know what he does. In the various, we've been down the adaptation road many, many times with both Mage and Grendel. And in one of the versions, one of the screenplays of Mage, he's a graphic artist and a kind of struggling, I don't want to say failed, but not realizing his dreams sort of graphic artist. And he works at a t-shirt printing plant, and somebody makes an order for Captain Marvel t-shirts, of course, in red and gold. And as a fuck you kind of joke, he prints them in black and white. And his boss is like, "All right, buddy, you're paying for those. Those are yours now." So that's how he does all these black and white Captain Marvel t-shirts. I thought that was kind of funny, actually.
Pop Warner Comics. I've got a sketch from Matt of the Thing squishing a Smurf from back in '84. Do you remember that, Matt?
Yeah. There's another guy that had me do a Grendel Prime killing a bunch of My Little Ponies.
That might offend one of our previous guests, Agnes Garbaska. Well, guys, we're finally caught up on comments. So if you have,
I was gonna say,
I'm about to give you a peek here at this one.
Oh, great!
That felt like a good scroll fest there for a little while.
And I know we had to skip a few of the comments. I just kind of went question hunting, and I apologize to anybody I jumped over.
Matt, do you collect any art yourself? Oh, look at that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
Happy.
I haven't for years, but I have some stuff that I'm just particularly proud of. Right over here on my studio wall is an Alex Toth painting of the Shadow.
Oh wow!
It was done for many years ago as a development piece for a proposed Shadow animated series that never came to fruition. And I was at San Diego one year, and it was always my habit to stop by Scott Dunbier's booth on my way to my table. Scott was a preeminent art dealer at that point, and he had just gotten a bunch of stuff on consignment from Alex Toth, and one was this Shadow piece. And I remember it was $900, and I had just raised my own sketch price. So this is probably 25 years ago. to $100 a piece. And I said to Scott, put that on hold. I'm doing 9 sketches this weekend. And baby, I did.
And just like that, nobody got a deal on the $100 sketches.
Yeah.
Somebody said, Kirk says Epi's gone wild. Pop Warner dude, Kirk, that Epi is going to be sick. Yeah, just people excited about Epi in the Grindle. Okay, yeah, we are caught up. So if you have a question, put it in the chat. And I would also be getting ready with those claims because I think this is going to go fast when it happens. I usually have a sense of when Ken's up to something.
Ken up to something? Never.
No.
Always.
That's not finished enough to do a claim.
Jason Harris says, what's the status of the live action adaptation of Grendel?
Unfortunately, no good news there. It utterly pains me to talk about it because it makes no sense whatsoever. It was done. It's completely filmed, and Netflix decided not to air it.
Oof. I'm sorry to hear that.
And what basically happened was Netflix, Netflix has been a dumpster fire the last several years. Their stock has just plummeted. So, that led to lots of panic over there, a lot of managerial purging. We lost the executive that was in charge of our show. And is so often the case in Hollywood. It's the old thing about how when a new lion comes into the lion pride, he kills all the cubs from the previous alpha male. The guy who took it over just kind of claimed, I don't get it. I don't get why this is good. I don't think we should do it. And just killed it. They elected to take a tax cut instead of airing it.
Ugh.
Yeah, I have the whole thing on Blu-ray. I have the whole series.
And there's just there's almost too many to even tackle, but just a ton of people in the chat are expressing their sympathy for you, and a loss for all of us. And just like that, Ken has hit the claim available.
Sorry?
And just
Ken,
like that,
the claim's available. It just exploded.
And just
in
like
the
that, we
claim
have
claim.
way more than 5 claims already.
Okay, so the first 5 are going to be David Lamb, Patrick Fenimore, Scott Sloan, Philip Q, and Mike C.
I don't know who you think is typing. I got David.
All right. Well, I'll go slower. And all 5 of these were YouTube claims, so that should tell you if you're still on Facebook, get on over to YouTube. And while you're there, make sure you like and subscribe so you see other opportunities from 4C and for the National Cartoonist Society.
David
Lamb, Patrick Fenimore, Scott Sloan, Philip Q. I'm not letting you do this to Ken. Mike C.
Come on, me and Ken love each other. You gotta love
I know, you guys.
Yeah, it's crazy. There were like 13 that popped up at this. It was insane.
And we got Patrick.
Patrick Fenimore. I have your email. I don't need it.
Just let me know what you're going to want, man.
Oh, TV's really loud.
Patrick has it's Patrick that won?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, here's where this stands right now, and I'm going to start laying in some of the color here.
Very nice.
Oh, that's cool.
So awesome.
I feel like a classic Firestorm is coming. Yep, there it is, right there.
Classic Firestorm inked bust. So $300 option Firestorm. And just a reminder to anybody that's new, all of these, and I know Patrick's not, but 4% processing fee and $25 shipping also on top of the prices.
But all the money goes to all the proceeds, all the profits go to the National Cartoonist Society Foundation. It is a charity sketch claim show for anybody who hasn't heard that from us before.
Just to further go on about the Netflix tragedy. What made it even worse was I had so many people involved in the show that I was contacted when filming wrapped by two of the directors who were women, who just said this was their favorite show they'd ever worked on, and they hoped it would run for 10 seasons, and we got fucked by Hollywood politics, you know.
Mike C asked, so there's no other way for like another company to buy what was made, or because they took the write-off, it's probably
we were allowed to shop it around, and nobody bit. Nobody wanted it. So far, I mean, there's still obviously a possible chance, but I at this point I'm not really holding my breath. Yeah, it's pretty crushing, believe me.
Again, just real sorry to hear that. Pop Warner asked, can we donate straight to the charity? Is there a link for that? And yes, Victor, there will be invoicing. If Annika doesn't recognize your name, you will be prompted to send an email, right, Annika?
Correct.
Annika is nodding. That is correct. And Ken, do you have an answer to the donate straight to the charity?
Yeah, we can probably find a link for the National Cartoonist Society Foundation and put that up there. I'm sure they have a direct donation link also.
That's probably a good thing to find for September there, Ken.
Yeah. When I send the invoices, I can actually allow tipping, and any tip would go to the National Cartoon Society also. If you want to donate more than if you got a claim, I mean.
Hey, Becker.
Yes, sir.
Can you check the 4C Comics live chat real fast?
Yes, sir.
Subtle.
While we have a quick break, we are going to do another show this week, guys. I kind of alluded to that on Sunday. It will be Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, and we are going to have our newest sign, Enid Balam, come on and do some head sketches for us. We are also going to have some of his pages from New Mutants, Kate Bishop, and also Spider-Verse. The one issue that he did, which just came out last week, I believe, or the week before. It's issue 4. He did a 10-page story. Craig Young, friend of 4C, also inked 3 of those pages. We also have those 3 pages that we can sell you. So those will all be available on Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. And I think we agreed the head sketches for him are going to be $150 for inks and $200 for color. So if you guys are interested, there'll be head sketches on Thursday, which will be slightly smaller, obviously, than the commission list that we've taken so far. But he posted a Wolverine today that he did as an example. and that looks amazing. So it's basically a bust for 200 or inks for 150.
I think we're also going to do a whatnot show this week.
Oh
too,
yeah,
in comics.
when are we doing that, Ken?
What? Guys, you move into a new house and you just fall off the world for like a week and you miss all of this news.
Well, see, I'm actually the logistics that are my life right now are a little insane with the conventions coming up and things. So I'm actually driving to Bacon's house and then leaving my car at Bacon's house and flying home before I go to San Diego. So we might do a whatnot from Bacon's house on Saturday night.
Oh boy.
Exciting.
I'm so confused.
Wait, why?
And what's in that collection, Ken? Is there anything good in that collection?
Yeah. Why?
No, I just
Because-
need an explanation of why you're going to drive so far away to
Because
fly.
The day after I get home from San Diego, I got to go to Connecticut for Terrificon.
So you're going to fly back to Bacon?
To
Yeah.
Bacon's
drive
and then cut his drive.
Yeah, no, I got that part. So you're going to fly to Bacon's and
It's
then
making-
drive to Connecticut.
It's making Ken's
Oh.
drive from 20 hours to like 5, and my drive from like 8 in a row until to like 4.
That's
What's that?
good.
Is that a teeny?
I had to take
Where'd you
this-
get all these, Ken?
Huh?
Where'd you get all these?
Oh, stuff happens. So these are coming to San Diego, so I can get Scott Shaw to sign. Look at that, Captain Carrot #1, baby. Bang!
Oh boy. So if there's any more questions, we are caught up on the chat. So if you have any questions for Matt, are you still working on the epi or
Yeah. I'll be on it for just another couple of minutes here, and then what was the other one? What was the one after this?
Oh, classic Firestorm.
But classic Firestorm in ink.
This is the DC character, right? Guy with the fire. in his
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
head? Just checking.
Should we check with you on that? Is there any characters that
No, I'll just
Might
need to look
not
up
be.
reference for him on my computer.
Okay.
I don't know the costume details well enough. But that's easily done. So
He
Jason.
typically likes the very classic version, like the original version. So
Jason Harris said, I heard Firestar. I wish, Jason. I'm a huge New Warriors fan.
I'm a huge George.
Are
Perez
you,
fan.
Becker? Are you?
I am. Just a bit.
It's the one thing I know that you
Yep.
like. them.
That's my thing. Well, hey, and you're Jane Foster Thor. Allegedly.
Allegedly. Dusty's coming for my title, though.
Yep.
There could be 2.
I think Dusty's tried to claim a couple times tonight too.
Right? Which one's Dusty?
I sold Matt on the
Oh
idea.
no,
of-
I'm sorry. I'm confused. It's Dustin Whitney that's tried to claim a couple times tonight. What'd you say, Ken? I'm sorry.
I said I sold Matt on the live claim show, telling him you'd get some cool, different kind of claims.
Yep.
yeah, you
You said-
mentioned Ken. You mentioned
Yeah, you said you would kill an OMAC.
OMAC. Yeah. Okay, so I got a hilarious
Ooh.
OMAC story. When I was a kid, I grew up in the middle of Pennsylvania. And every summer, my parents and I would go to this huge county fair. And it was a really unique thing because it was put on by the local Grange Association. And so you had a fairgrounds, rides, fairway, food stalls, games, 4-H, farm stuff, all that. But then surrounding it was this village that would be erected for the week of the fair. It was all made up of rows and rows of decommissioned army tents, full-size army tents. And you rented this tent for the week, and these tents were handed down from generation to generation through families, right? So we went every year, and I all year long, I would save up all my allowance, all my lawn cutting money, anything I had to have fun money at the fair, right? So one year, must have been, let's see, it was probably 72, so I was probably 10. All of a sudden, there was a guy who had erected a little booth, and it was a hippie airbrush artist. It's the first time I'd ever seen anybody working with an airbrush. And he was doing T-shirts. And so he had this easel with a placard, and he would stretch a T-shirt over it. And, you told him what you want, and he would, and it was a lot of cars and car logos and shit like that. So I elected to sacrifice some of my fun money and get a T-shirt from him. It was $7, I remember. And that summer, I was particularly enamored of OMAC, my new favorite series. And I had issue number 2 with me. And so he painted the logo, and then standing on the logo, kind of half crouched over. If you go look at the cover of OMAC number 2, you'll see what he used for figure reference was OMAC. And so I think I can safely make the claim that I was pretty much the only kid in America ever to have a county fair hippie airbrush OMAC T-shirt.
That is great.
And I wore that fucker to shreds, man. I wore it till it was just threads, baby.
Did you get a lot of compliments on it?
Well, nobody knew who OMAC was.
He's a weird guy with a mohawk. That's funny. That's great.
Oh, I love OMAC.
Cesar Alvarez says he has an OMAC from Matt.
Say that again. I didn't hear it.
There's a comment. His name is Cesar Alvarez. He says, I have an OMAC from Matt.
Oh, from me. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He does. Yeah. Caesar has a lot of strange stuff for me. He always gives me a lot of cool. This is where this is going. I'm going to stop it right now and move on to the fire starter.
Very nice.
Holy moly.
The fire starter. Firestorm.
Firestorm. Yeah, not Firestorm. Got Stephen King on my mind.
I just had to
Caesar
laugh.
says. Caesar said, "I've got lots of." It's funny. Like at the same time, you were saying, "Oh yeah, Caesar has given me a lot of unique ideas." He wrote, "I've got lots of unusual characters from Matt. The most obscure may be Bawana Beast."
Bawana Beast. Yep. Hellblazer, Peacemaker. Long before Peacemaker was anything but a ha-ha kind of character. What else?
Says, "Holy crud! Color is the way to go." Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, here we go.
Or are you looking up what he's ordered from you before?
No. I'm looking up Firestorm.
He's
here.
doing Firestorm.
Yeah.
Oh, those are all great ones, Caesar. Caesar saying Ragman, Jonah Hex, Warlord, Question.
Yep.
I love everything you're saying right now. I just picked up another first appearance of the Question.
He usually fires me a here's a list of like 6. Choose one of these. And they're always
Pop
like,
Warner asks, "Can you show that Epi Grendel one more time?"
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
That's sweet.
Marcus Y asks, "Brother Power?" Question mark.
Brother Power the Geek. No, I haven't done them, but Creeper. I think Caesar has a Creeper from me. That's pretty cool looking.
So Matt, will there be any cons you will be at this year? I know you said no to San Diego, but
I have not been to a con since before the pandemic. There's a chance I'm going to be at the Comic Art Live event in Orlando in January, which is organized by Comic Art Fans, the website Comic Art Fans.
We'll be there.
I'm actually working with
so
Bill.
there's a chance I'm going to be at that. We haven't quite finalized that yet. I don't know. I'm only kind of now getting to where I kind of feel like I might want to go to cons again. I got to say, for when the pandemic was on and they were just kind of not in existence anymore, I really wasn't missing the experience. I've been going to cons for decades, and they just get more exhausting for me as I get older. I hate to put it that way, but it's just a fact, you know. And I was kind of enjoying my time off there for a while, so we'll see. Perhaps
I can understand that.
Perhaps time to re-enter the fray.
Yeah, I
and
can definitely.
Somebody asked, do you have a CAF Live event next week?
I do. Yeah. That's also coming up. So yeah, Comic Art Fans Live will be on Monday, and that'll be some interviews like we're doing here, some Q&A, and then my art dealer will be there as well, and we'll have like I think about 20 pieces of art for sale, including some a bunch of original blue lines from both the first Mage series, The Hero Discovered, and Devil by the Deed. Blue lines, if you don't know that term, it's a now obsolete coloring method. That was how we did things back in those days, where you photograph the black and white artwork and you reproduce it on two sheets of acetate. One is a positive and one is a negative. And then there are these chemicals you could buy that you treat a piece of paper that you want to paint on, and you expose it to sunlight. I actually used just a sun lamp I bought at a Woolworths, and it would reproduce the art as a blue line. And so you had a blueprint of the art that you painted on, and then the clear overlay laid over that as the black line. So the original color art was a unique, special piece of art in and of itself, in addition to the black line art.
Oh, wow.
And I recently unearthed a bunch of those from my storage closet, so we're going to have a bunch of those available at the CAF event as well.
We have some ideas from the chat.
We work with Bill pretty closely. He helps. He promotes us. We promote him, and so we'll be at that. We'll be at that CAF event in Orlando also.
Great.
I think I'm bringing Bill out there. So if you do come, you'll get to hang out with Morrison.
Ken, will you be flying to Orlando for that?
It's potential. Who knows?
At this point, probably so.
There's a possibility.
We had some ideas from the chat. PJ Small said, just go to a con and wear a Bryan Cranston mask. And Linda said, wear a Grendel mask.
Yeah, there you go. Not comfortable.
Soon.
Oh yeah, Anthony will be back, Amelia. Don't you worry.
Soon.
It took us forever to convince him to do it, but once he did it, he loved it.
We may actually do a Wheel of Deals from his warehouse. I'll actually.
Oh boy.
Oh, are you hinting at things that we haven't announced yet?
Oh, a little bit.
Look at you go.
We all know Ken can't keep it secret.
No, he really can't. He's the worst.
Worst. You just gotta mute him sometimes, guys.
He's the absolute worst.
It's not a secret. There are no secrets.
I usually find out about it a week after Bacon posts whatever it is on 4C's Facebook page. That's how with it I am.
Ken usually calls me Ken usually calls me, and I have to like not answer the call because I'm in the middle of a meeting. He didn't even ask, and so then when I finally get on the phone with him, he's like, "Guess what? Guess what?" And I'm like, "Okay, what?" And he tells me, and then I'm like, "All right, well, we can't say anything until like 3 or 4 weeks from now." And then we get on this show, and immediately that's the first thing he says.
He's excited.
I'm like, Ken, I didn't post anything. You got to give me time to post it.
There's nothing to post yet. Nobody asked about Wheel of Deals with Anthony. I'm just giving you some.
Pretty sure that happened for this particular show tonight. Hey,
I
guess
just
what, Bacon? Guess what, Bacon? We got Matt Wagner. Really? Okay, cool. Let's post something about that. And then
All right, I'm gonna break it up, you two. So
Pretty
Matt,
sure I didn't even hear that.
Hear what? I don't know what he's talking about.
we've gone through some pretty great stories. Do you have any good convention stories from when you still went to them? Like maybe from your first one, or just one that you like to tell?
Yeah, not that I want to tell you here.
Oh boy.
The show's over.
If we're ever drunk at a bar some night, maybe I'll.
Oh, that's half the fun of 4C. We're all drunk right now. It's fine.
Well, I'm not, but
I was gonna say I'm not
Come on,
either. So.
Becker.
You guys aren't trying hard enough.
Oh yeah.
oh no, I'm allergic to that stuff. I break out in handcuffs.
Yeah, Annika and I are drunk. Ken's trying harder than we are. And
What?
What?
see, exactly.
Sorry, I really couldn't hear you. I was trying to. My back really hurts from moving. So I was giving myself a massage.
No,
I have
jeez.
no idea what you guys were talking about. It's really loud.
Ken, I had to remind her to buy us tickets for the Padres game.
What the hell?
I just don't understand why you guys don't understand.
Padres. If I'm not sitting behind home plate, they're only like $13. And I'm not going.
What?
It's the
Sir.
Padres. No one cares.
So many people care.
Is it hard to get tickets? Aren't they bad?
No, but
I'm gonna look right now.
it's no, but it's still expensive.
No, it's
Yeah,
not. I told you the other day it's $30. $30.
If he wants to behind the home plate,
45.
Why are you doing that right now?
because my back really hurts.
Jason Harris says no one has cared since Tony Gwynn retired. And Annika is getting mad silently because she's muted right now.
Even I got to get mad for Annika. That's pretty bad. The Padres have been a pretty good team lately. They just spend a fortune and then never make the playoffs. There's nothing wrong with that.
Jeez Louise, this has become sports ball talk.
Oh my god.
Sorry,
damn it.
Mike.
Pirates?
You kind of hit the gun there, buddy. We haven't posted out another one yet.
Yeah, I'm about to give you a peek at this one. Hang on just a sec.
No worries, no worries. Ooh,
Oh, wow.
yep, that's looking good.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we either do sports or wrestling.
Yeah.
God, stick to sports.
Sports
please.
entertainment talk.
Sports. No wrestling. Sports.
I'm attending
Sports,
WWE.
baseball.
I'm attending WWE SmackDown on Friday night as a fan.
Are you really?
Oh,
Yep.
yay.
Nice. I should have. Why didn't you tell me that? I would have came in Friday.
Oh, dang! I didn't even think about that. Come in
Son.
Friday, Ken. We'll
Is
go
that at the
SmackDown.
place you work at?
Yeah.
Same building?
I want to see. I want to see.
PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina.
I want to
Friday
see.
Night SmackDown live. So you might be able to see me live on TV on Fox that night.
Sweet. Yeah, the Bloodline has been
Yeah.
going pretty good on there.
That's what I'm saying.
LA Knight's very popular. Cesar Alvarez says, love going to Jack Murphy Stadium to see games. I don't know where that one is. Jack Murphy Stadium.
The Murph is in San Diego.
I'm pretty sure that's San Diego.
Isn't that Petco?
Well,
No,
It
it
used
used
to
to be
be.
the football/baseball stadium.
Oh, okay.
And then when the Padres got their own, it turned to Petco.
Don't you worry, Jason. I never, ever take my shirt off.
Looks like you're gonna.
Philip Q. Wow, the chat exploded for a second. Why only as a fan, Bacon? Just jump in the ring. Marcus says Flair Country.
We are Flair Country.
Kirk, we have a question from Kirk. Matt, have you always drawn holding the paper up on a board versus having it on a desktop?
I'm only doing this because I'm sitting in front of a computer. No, I have a drawing board over there that I sit at. That's I for the real stuff, for when I'm drawing pages. Yep.
So you guys heard it here first. You're not getting real stuff tonight.
Published stuff, put it that way.
I'm joking.
So you guys are going to go to a Padres game for is there a game when San Diego Comic-Con's happening?
they're
Monday.
never there, apparently.
But it's Darvish's 3,000 strikeout bobblehead night. So I'm very excited to get a bobblehead.
Are you guys flying out there just for the game, or is it around the time of the con?
Oh, it's the Monday after the convention.
Monday after, got it.
Yeah, so we'll be there for San Diego Monday.
I'll be there as long as I can because I actually catching red eye that night. So hopefully I'll be there for 5 or 6 innings.
Emilio says, what was your first published work, Matt?
First published work in comics was the very first Grendel story, which appeared in Kamiko Primer #2. Prior to that, though, I went to school. I went to 2 different colleges. I went to a big liberal arts university in Virginia, James Madison University. And after a couple of years there, I transferred to an art school in Philadelphia. But when I was at James Madison, I worked on the school newspaper, and I did a comic strip for them for 2 years, twice a week. And I was also, this was the actually best bit of schooling I ever had. I was their graphic artist, which meant that they went to press 2 nights a week. Pretty big circulation. It was a big school, 25, 30,000 copies every time. Free to the students, When the days came out, it was just piled all over campus. You would just grab one. But I had to show up the nights they went to press, which was Wednesday and Sunday night, and I had to show up at the offices around 9:00. And at that point, they had the paper laid out, and wherever there was a dead spot, wherever there was no ad, no copy, no photo, I had to do an illustration to fill in that dead spot. They usually had, we need a drawing of this. Student arguing with his landlord, that kind of thing. And I couldn't leave till that was done. And so for the first time in my life, I wasn't drawing because I wanted to. I was drawing because I had to. And that was an invaluable experience for me. Usually couldn't leave till 2 or 3 in the morning. Took me that long to get stuff done. And for that, I got every semester, I got a 1-credit A. And if I'm remembering correctly, about $32 a month, which in 1979, 1980 made me feel like I was on top of the world, believe me.
David Desmond says, I actually bought Comico Primer 2 off the stands.
Mm-hmm.
Pop Warner Comics says, was that duck work?
No, duck work was a thing. Once I got to the art school in Philadelphia, that was another in-school publication that was some school news, but mainly just duck cartoons. You know, the duck stuff was big back in those days with Carl Barks and those sort of artists getting a lot of recognition finally. And my gig with Duckwork was I would do duck takeoffs of famous movie posters. So I did Raiders of the Lost Duck and Roller Duck and Duck Throat, starring Linda Lovedrake. And there was one or two others. Anyway, it only lasted for a couple issues, but it was fun at the time.
Caesar asks, besides the Alex Toth, what other art does Matt have hanging?
I have a Prince Valiant Sunday piece that's another pride and joy kind of thing. Those are huge, you know, they're, I don't know, 30 by 40, something like that. And over the years, a lot of those have been cut up. People sell them like by the panel, you know? So I have a complete page, and it's really beautiful. I have a little Abner daily. I have a Popeye daily, which is also one of my favorites. What else? Looking across my studio here, I have 2 pages from a Tarzan story that I did with Teddy Christensen way back in the day, as an adaptation of a Burroughs short story, one of Burroughs' best short stories. I think it's called Tarzan's First Love, and how he falls in love with an ape before he's encountered had any sort of close encounters with humans. And his best friend, his best boyhood friend, another young ape, is also vying for her attentions. So it's a very emotionally conflicted time for Tarzan. Beautiful story. Here's how this is coming along.
Oh, wow. That's cool. I love the backgrounds that you're doing with the little, like...
Squigglies.
Yeah.
They accomplish a lot.
Squigglies.
Nice shot, David. We just sometimes have people randomly saying claim and then oops. Pop Warner Comics. I have a couple blue lines from Discovered that have a Duckwork blank invoice glued to the back for support.
Yeah, and I don't know. I can't remember why that was. Why we were doing that. Yep, I don't remember why that was. It was probably due to the fact that Jerry Giovinco, who was one of the publishers of Kamiko and probably in charge of production at that point, probably had a stack of those for some reason and was just slapping them on there because they were free and easy to use, you know.
Hmm. Patrick says it's looking very nice so far with an exclamation point.
Great. And I'm about that point where we could go and plug another one if you guys are ready.
Get it ready. Get it ready, guys.
Wait till the line. Wait till the line.
There's no bigger heads up than that.
All right. Did you draw the line?
I have the line ready. I'm waiting for Ken.
All right. 1, 2. Oh, all right.
Go. And now I'm waiting for my screen to explode.
There it goes.
Yeah, there it is.
I gotta grab a tool off camera here. I'll be right back.
It's so glitchy because like there's 0 and then there's 20.
Yep. But it does timestamp them, which is nice.
Yeah. I mean,
Ken, whenever you're ready, I'm ready.
Right, bud.
All right, David Lamb. Mike C.
I was waiting for you to say it.
No, I'm not even attempting that. Scott Sloan.
Uh-huh.
Rom 2814.
Gotcha.
And Linda Craig. PJ, I'm sorry, and everybody below. It goes very fast.
Yeah, guys, you're really looking for the line, not the claim, because apparently there's a lag on the video, but the line goes out. And I do the line right when Ken shows the...
Yeah, and your line is time-stamped earlier than theirs.
Yeah. So look for that line next time, guys.
Well, in fairness, if they're claiming on Facebook, they don't see the line.
And Jason Harris, I know it looks that way on your end, but on my end with the timestamp, it's not. The first 3 weren't early. And who won? I didn't even see the video.
Somebody I don't know. David C.
Mike
No,
or David Lamb?
Lamb.
David L.
David Lamb, are you from San Diego? And do you have a wife that I might know?
That was weird, Annika. So, David, you are up. Your persistence has paid off.
And David Lamb, if you see, there's an email us at 4ccomic.art@gmail.com. Can you please let us or email us so that we have your email for invoicing?
Oh, Jason was talking about the banner. Yeah, we're out of self-preservation. We're going by the line, not the banner, guys.
Yeah, so what you guys are seeing is, so when Ken posts the banner is when I enter the line. But my comment is coming through before because you guys have a lag on the video.
Yeah, you're seeing the direct feed of the...
Yeah.
Because we're on StreamYard, we're seeing the banner before you guys are.
Mm-hmm.
But if anybody can say this.
So David says he's going to go for classic Grendel Hunter Rose, black and white.
Got it. And we'll start it here in just a sec.
Hunter Rose, black and white.
Guys, I'm watching on my phone on both Facebook and YouTube, and it's going up pretty close to the same time, the line and the claim banner. So I know this is a really popular night for Matt, but we're trying our best, guys. And so whatever we see on the StreamYard chat is what we have to go with.
Yeah, there's just no better way to do it. Otherwise, we'd have a wheel with 15 names, and your chances would be even worse.
I know, Dustin. I'm sorry. And usually you have like super fast.
Yeah, Dustin always wins. I'm surprised.
We're jinxing him right now. Dustin always wins.
Jason Williams, thank you. We appreciate that. And thank you, PJ. Yeah, we're doing our best with this. Facebook, Brett Reed says hello all. Hi, Brett. If you're looking to do a claim tonight, I recommend heading over to YouTube because we are using a line in the chat to help people just because we have a lot of people trying to claim.
How many have we done? Four?
This will be the
just
fourth.
Came in. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So just to remind you guys, we updated the post today. There's only going to be 6, but we'll see what happens after that. But for the moment, there's only going to be 6. So just keep an eye out. We're going to keep doing them. Matt agreed to stay on until we took 6. So
I'm going to change Jason's question a little bit. For somebody that doesn't know a lot about Grendel, what can you tell people asking questions about Grendel?
So I would say that Grendel's, holds a pretty unique position in the comics industry. There really is kind of nothing like it. It's a character and a concept that focuses on what would be termed either the villain or the anti-hero, as opposed to traditional heroics. And it's a character that continually reinvents and updates itself, in that it moves ahead in time, and different characters adopt the persona and become new versions of Grendel. So there are literally tons of Grendels. There's centuries of story time. Everybody's kind of got their own favorite of Grendel, you know. A good place to start is the newly published, the new second editions of the Grendel Omnibus, which just came out is coming out right now from Dark Horse Comics. These are big, like 500 and 600 page compendiums that collect all the Grendel stories and lead you through this massive, very challenging saga. Grendel examines a whole lot of moral and philosophical issues. There's never a clear hero or villain. I usually say it's an examination of aggression and violence, and that the violence is never justified. The cost of violence always comes home to roost in Grendel. In my own defense, I have another series called Mage where things do turn out happy and things work out, but in Grendel, shit doesn't work out very often.
Mike asks, will there be another Grendel after Grendel Prime?
Don't know yet. Won't know until I get there. I don't plan very far in advance. I tend to be a kind of spontaneous creator. I don't know if any of you have ever read Stephen King's book On Writing, which is his memoir of being a writer. He talks about the fact that he's not a copious note taker. He's not a great pre-planner. He tends to come up with an idea, and he comes up with characters, and then he just follows his characters around through the story and lets the story unfold as the characters lead him through it. And that's very much the way I work too. Number of years ago, quite a number of years ago, 20 plus years ago, I was in England for a convention, and a few friends and I had a signing up in Scotland after the convention in London, and we had a rental car, and we went to Northampton, and we spent the night at Alan Moore's house. And Alan at that time was working on his own self-published book, Big Numbers, which had a kind of tragic publishing history, never finished. But he took me up to his writing studio, and he showed me this thing he had. So he had one of those big giant sketchbooks, sketch pads, probably 18 by 24. And Big Numbers was famously going to be 10 issues. So he had it divided into columns this way, 10 columns. And then he had probably 30 characters going on. So he had it divided into 30 columns horizontally as well. So he had characters listed on the one side, issue number at the top, and then in each square, he had, in the tiniest, tightest little writing you could imagine, he had written out everything that happened to that character in that issue. So the entire thing is covered. He's got it all planned out. He knows everything that's going to happen from beginning to end before he even starts. And I was just like, man, you and I don't work alike at all. So, here is Firestorm all wrapped up.
Wow.
Oof. Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
And now we're on to Hunter Rose. I don't need photo reference for him. Costume reference.
I would imagine not.
Yeah.
And Kirk said the omnibuses are up to volume 4 now?
Volume 4, the next two are the various Grendel Prime series. Not Grendel Prime, excuse me, Grendel Tales series, and collected into 2 volumes. And then volume 7 will be Devil's Odyssey and the new eventually the new Grendel Prime series I'm working on right now, Devil's Crucible, and maybe some stuff following that as well. So it's this is gonna be open ended. We'll keep collecting them as long as I keep doing them.
And Patrick Fenimore, the guy who ordered the Firestorm, says, "Gorgeous, thank you, Matt." And we talked about the hardcovers coming out in October. Do you have any other projects you want to plug while you're on here?
I have a brand new something that I can't talk about yet. But it is. I can tell you a little bit about it because it is a collaboration between me and Kelly Jones.
Ooh.
Kelly and I have known each other for years and years and years, and we have always meant to do something together. And on a recent Facebook exchange, he once again piped up and said, "Yeah, we really do got to do something together someday." Except this time I said, "Are you serious about that, man? Because I have an idea." And so we are doing it. It will be announced in October. It is the first of 4 graphic novels, me writing, him drawing. I think everybody's going to love it. I say with no sense of false pride, this is probably Kelly's magnum opus. It is some of the best work I've ever seen from him, and that's saying a lot.
Awesome.
Well, I'm excited to see what it is. Patrick Fenimore asked, "Would you please personalize Firestorm with your signature?" So just to be clear, Patrick, does that mean you want this to say to Patrick? And if you could just confirm before we do that. Yes, to me. So, yeah.
And the other 2 are just signed. Is that correct?
Yes. Nobody else has asked for personalization at this point.
And if you guys can hear me over whatever is happening in my living room, invoices are starting to go out now.
Okay,
So,
great.
Cheyenne is working on it. Allegedly. Because Bacon gave her a huge list of other stuff to do.
I'm telling her right now that she has more to do.
I'm really glad I don't have a job in this thing. I just show up and talk.
I feel the same way.
What? You talk?
Who's?
Somebody's ringing.
Is that me?
No, it's Ken, I think.
No.
That was about the house. Sorry, guys.
It was
Annika,
Annika calling.
Oh, it was Annika. I like how everybody, before they looked at the camera, looked around them to wherever their phone is sitting.
I don't even know.
We all kind of did that prairie dog, like, well, that doesn't sound like my ring.
Well, Annika already called me once on this live stream, so I was like, what else do you want?
That was a real call, though.
I know.
There was a real concern. This one was because I was texting you guys and I hit call by accident.
Oh. Linda says it's the 4C hotline. We could do a 4C hotline. Bacon, get us a 900 number and we can give people.
Oh, no. I get enough messages every day. I cannot do a hotline.
Do 900 numbers still exist? Is that still a thing?
I think they do.
When I was a kid, I remember I got in a lot of trouble because I called one of the wrestling hotlines, I think, to get like some private words from Bret Hart or something about an upcoming pay-per-view. I got in a lot of trouble for calling it.
Oh, Becker.
That's all I remember.
Becker, Bret the Hitman Hart is going to be at GalaxyCon Raleigh, in a couple weeks. Unfortunately, I'm going to be in Connecticut for TriffCon.
That's all right. I've met him many times.
Talked about the Montreal screw job.
How many? David Lamb says, how many of the viewers checked their phones? PJ Small says the 4C hotline, $2.99 for the first minute, 99 cents after. Chat with other nerds in your area.
Oh, don't forget the 4% PJ Smalls. 4% processing.
And $25 shipping? No, that probably doesn't apply to a phone call. And Emilio, yeah, I've been following all these cons you're hitting, man. You were in full swing. Niagara last month, and then you just had Buffalo. You're everywhere, man.
Emilio's killing it. But he said earlier he doesn't have another con until September.
Yeah. Well, give that wallet a break.
Yeah. Chat with other nerds in your area.
Sketchy hot dog. Everybody's coming up with a different gimmick for it. That's great.
Speaking of nerds and sketches, I find this on my iPad.
Is that you, Ken?
No, that's
I don't
me.
know if it's me, if it's Bacon, who this is. I don't even know who drew it.
That's
The
me.
hair makes me think Ken.
Oh, really?
It's not.
Okay,
It doesn't have a
maybe.
beard. No.
And the frown looks more like Ken. Bacon's always smiling.
That's true. I don't have a beard, so maybe that is Ken.
Annika, you want to tell us who it was since you drew it?
It was Ken.
I don't even remember. I'm guessing since there's no beard, it's Ken.
It looked like Ken.
I saw her doing it. She was sitting there doing Heroes, and she was just drawing it out. And I was like,
No, this was well before Heroes. I think this is MegaCon.
and I saw you doing it at Heroes, so you
At
must have.
Heroes?
It was a Heroes.
Shit, everything's blurred.
Yeah. When we go to Heroes, guys, everything is blurred. Heroes is just
Yeah, it sure was. My drive was so epic. I haven't gone cross country in a while, and there's just some great people watching at some of those truck stops in the Smoky Mountains.
Did you stop?
I
at
wish
a
I would have
Buc-ee's?
spent more time at the truck stops.
Did you stop at a Buc-ee's? That's all that matters.
I did stop at a Buc-ee's, yeah. And then I stopped at a place that just literally the sign said truck stop. And that was like deep middle of nowhere in Tennessee, I believe. Super awesome people watching there.
I can imagine.
Rom2814 says, any chance of another licensed mage shirt? My old ones from graffiti design days are starting to wear out.
Yes, I should do that. Thanks for the idea.
It's true. No beard, no bacon.
Patrick says, invoice received and paid. We appreciate it, Patrick.
Patrick, you the man. You pay
And more importantly, National Cartoonist Society appreciates it.
Agreed.
Those are scary though, especially in the mountains of West Virginia. Yeah, I don't think I crossed into West Virginia at all. On my way out, I stayed in right outside of Knoxville. Kodak, Tennessee, I stayed in.
I feel like PJ Smalls has watched both of the Wrong Turn movies. That's why he's saying that.
Yeah, I didn't get stuck in West Virginia. And then I stayed in Kentucky on the way back. One night each. Yeah, Kansas City to North Carolina. It was better than being on a plane, though. So I would do it again. I hate planes.
So
I
had
don't
my-
mind planes except for
idea.
my 8-hour trip to San Diego and my 8-hour trip home from San Diego. But other than that, it's fine.
thing.
Yeah. Mine's a people
I'm
issue.
going to Tokyo with Ken then.
Yeah, I know. Oh wait, are we going to Tokyo?
Maybe
You might be.
we're gonna talk to Yoshi when we're in San
I
Diego.
love how she says you might be, knowing that full well that she's going to come with us if we go.
Depends on what time of year. I don't have any days off this year, guys.
Well, it'll be next year.
I don't have any days off next year during the school year until July.
Jim Manley says, I really enjoyed the Shadow story, The Death of Margot Lane. Did you come up with the story as well as writing and drawing the book?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, and here's a chance to talk about the Shadow a little bit and my version of the Shadow. Because you got people that are really hardcore canonists. That the Shadow has to adhere strictly to the way it was portrayed by Walter Gibson in the pulp magazines. And certainly, I love those. But when it came time for me to do the Shadow, I was very aware that there's a lot of different perceptions of the Shadow. So, as popular as that pulp magazine was, sheer fact of the matter is, far more people listened to the radio show than ever read the pulp magazines. Of course, it's a completely different character in the radio show. In the pulp magazine, he does not turn invisible. And of course, Margot Lane comes from the radio show, was eventually introduced into the pulps due to the success of the radio show. I was also aware that for some readers, they might know the Shadow from the Alec Baldwin movie, which has some good stuff in it. It's by no means a perfect movie. It's flawed in many, many ways. But so my thought was it's my job then to do my comic book version of the Shadow, to distill all these things down to make it my version. So generally it follows the pulps, but at the same time, I include the character of Margot Lane. They are lovers, because believe me, in the 1930s and 40s, when the radio show said his constant friend and companion, the lovely Margot Lane, everybody knew what that meant. There was no mystery there. I took some things I liked in the Baldwin movie, the fact that after World War I, he kind of became part of the lost generation and became a criminal in Asia. So he had a dark past that he had to atone for. I even took, in the pulps, he wears more of a kind of a floppy hat. I more followed the look that Jim Steranko gave him, which was like basically an extended brim fedora on his paperback covers. So again, I took all my favorite bits of the Shadow to distill down and make it my version.
Pop Warner asks, besides the Shadow, do you have any other favorite Golden Age characters like Black Terror or the Shield?
Neither of those. No, I've kind of had a lucky scenario in that I've managed to get my hands on all of my favorite childhood characters. The Shadow was kind of the last one on the bucket list. Like I said, I wouldn't mind doing another Superman thing, but I've done Superman a couple times now. I was a big Zorro fan when I was a kid. I loved the Green Hornet too. I loved Batman. I've had my chance at portraying all of these characters, and generally speaking, in a way that I was able to fairly well personalize. Unlike a lot of my contemporaries from my generation, so let's say Mike Mignola, Frank Miller, etc. those guys all came to creator-owned properties after first putting in their years inside the machine in the big publishers, and I did it the other way around. So I've always been a bit of an iconoclast. If you go look at my history of working with the big publishers, I've never really done I've never jumped around from title to title. I've never done long extended runs of things. It's always fairly personalized projects where I know that they're going to leave me alone. I don't want a bunch of interference. I have these other titles. I have Grendel, I have Mage, where I'm the absolute lord of my domain, where whatever I say goes. So the thought of going and having to work under the yoke of some editorial conceits, I have no interest in it. It just doesn't appeal to me. Why would I do that? Fuck that shit, to put it bluntly. So I've been very lucky in the fact that I've worked with editors who, like Karen Berger, like Archie Goodwin, like Bob Schreck at the big publishers, who knew to just leave me alone. Leave him alone. Let him, we hired him because we like his stuff. Let him do his stuff. So yeah, I don't really have a ton of bucket list characters left. I feel like I've managed.
Hello everyone, welcome to WAC.
Jeez.
WAC Comics.
What is that?
The hand.
I need to go sharpen a pencil. I'll be right back.
Was somebody watching YouTube videos while Matt was talking?
Becker. It was Becker.
It was me. Yeah, my phone dropped on the floor and started playing YouTube.
Likely story.
Oh, really did. I was trying to reply to Alan.
Alan.
Yeah, he was texting me, and then I've got fat fingers, so I dropped my phone.
No.
You guys invoked him by talking about him too much.
Yep. You knew it was going to
I said
happen.
his name
Matt.
too many times.
You knew it was going to happen, Matt.
It's like Beetlejuice.
What?
We said Bill Morrison's name too many times.
We said
Oh,
Bill.
Bill.
Bill Morrison
Yeah.
too many times.
Oh, right on.
How's it going, Matt?
Hey, Bill. How are you? Good to see you, buddy.
Good. Looks like you're
I'm
drawing.
to a spot on this one where I think we could fire up another claim.
Uh-oh. You guys heard it.
Guys, look for the line. Whenever you're ready, Kenneth.
After we get those, I'll show you the progress on this one.
Go.
And there you go. Claim, claim, claim. And it'll all come in one big rush.
No claims.
Claim.
The whole page goes.
Boom.
News.
Okay, so Ken, whenever you're ready.
Hold on one sec, buddy.
Ooh, Nikolai got in there. I like it.
Go ahead, bud.
No, Dustin did. I have Scott Sloan,
Yep.
Dagny, David, Desmond, Linda Craig, and Dustin Whitney.
Oh, Dustin finally slid in. I like it.
Who did you have?
Oh, I said Nikolai. That's Dagny.
Oh, okay.
He's just trying to cause
I
problems.
didn't know that.
Calling
I didn't
people by
know
their
that.
real names.
I'm not, which is funny because I'll see Dagny soon enough at a local small con.
Yeah, I did a favor for Dagny / Nikolai recently, so it was good to see that he got in on this. Even though he just lost.
Scott Sloan.
Wow, Bacon. Jesus.
Wow.
Cold-blooded.
Bacon gets
What I
into
did.
those drinks and it gets darker as the show gets on.
That's what I do.
It's what I do. It's how I do it.
Okay, we're back on. Okay, here's the progress on this guy.
Oh, wow.
Gorgeous.
Filling the bottom in there with Annika's favorite squiggles.
I think I like the squiggles more than I like Kirby Crackle. Oh, I said it, guys.
So Scott says, color Doc Savage.
Oh, right on. Yeah, cool. I have up in our living room. Like, we don't have a lot of comic book art on display around the house, but I have some stuff here and there. And in our living room, I have what I consider my pulp trifecta. So I have a really lovely giclée print of one of Jeffrey Catherine Jones's most famous Tarzan pieces. And then I have a really lovely print by an artist named Sandy Cosin, who did these really evocative and kind of half crazed shadow covers for Bantam books during the 60s. And then I have a print of the first James Bama cover of Doc Savage. And it's Graffiti put this print out, and it's the version before they decided to give him the skull cap sort of look in the 60s. Of course, in the pulp days, he didn't have that. He just had kind of like a regular haircut. And so here's this, muscular guy standing there with a ripped up shirt. And my wife just gives me grief about that one all the time. She's like, come on. That one is just too like gay bathhouse kind of look. Like,
Somebody
hey.
somebody at Stockton Con, I think it was Dan Brereton, was looking at a Smokey the Bear cover.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of those old painted Dell covers.
Mm-hmm.
They're really gorgeous. And then somebody else made a comment who was standing there about how it's like the how'd they put it? It's like the original bear.
Right.
Gay culture, because he's like shirtless with just jeans.
Yeah.
He's got muscles.
Yeah.
But a bear head and a hat, no shirt.
Bill only came out because you were talking about Golden Age characters like the Shadow. Did you buy any books this weekend, Bill?
I didn't buy anything at the show, but my wife and I, she was doing a show last weekend in Los Angeles. She was doing a club show. She sings with a swing band. And so I flew in on Monday, and then we drove up the coast and we did some wine tasting, some antiquing. And in an antique store, I found some comics, and they had a copy of Gru #1, the original Pacific Comics. And I opened it up, and on page 1, it had a Sergio sketch. So signature and a sketch by Sergio.
Score.
Dated 1982. So it was like the first year of, no, I think it was dated 84. So it was like 2 years after Gru came out.
That's awesome.
So that was my big find.
That sounds like a fun trip, Bill.
It was a lot of fun. So we ended up, we went to Paso Robles.
There's that one all done.
Wow, look at that.
Oh, I love that effect at the bottom.
Can we find out if this person wants it personalized as well?
We can.
And then we went up to Sebastopol, and then over to Napa, and then finally Stockton. Have you ever done that show, Matt?
No.
Are you a J.C. Leyendecker fan?
Yeah.
So they have a museum there called the Hagen Museum, and it's got the largest collection of original J.C. Leyendecker paintings in the world.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a small museum. It's very Hagen family, I guess, collected art and illustration over the decades. And Leindecker's sister, I believe, lived in the area, and she inherited a ton of paintings, and she donated them to this museum. So if you ever get a chance to go, we have.
Did you say it's in Stockton?
Stockton, yeah.
Okay.
So every year at this convention, they have a dinner at the museum that's catered by Tony DeZuniga's wife, who has a restaurant. And they invite all the comic guests, all the celebrity guests, and if you time it right, not only do you get to see all the Leindeckers and some Maxfield Parishes, but they'll take you down to the basement where they just have the collection of stuff that nobody ever gets to see, that they don't have room to put on display. And it's just like classic American illustration, some European. It's just really cool. It's
a number of years ago, I happened to be in D.C. Visiting a friend, and we got to go to the National Portrait Gallery, which at the time had this huge display of George Lucas and Steven Spielberg's mutual collection of Norman Rockwell originals.
Wow.
It was staggering. There was so much. Those rich guys just bought so much of that stuff. And it was just beautiful looking.
Wow. I got to go to Spielberg's office once years ago. I think it was the Amblin office on the Universal lot. And I got to see one of the big Rockwells that he had in the reception area. Yeah, pretty amazing.
Another time I was in DC, just by happenstance, got to tag along with a friend who a friend of his had lined up this thing where they went to the Library of Congress, and we got to see all the original art for Amazing Fantasy 15.
Oh, Ken, weren't you gonna do that?
Yeah, Bacon and I were going to do that last year, going to Baltimore.
Yeah,
but we
It's amazing because it's the whole issue. It's not just the Spider-Man story. And you know, I mean, you're not allowed to touch it, but they bring it out and pull it out of the box. I mean, you can get your face right up on it, look at it like as close detail as you care to.
Yeah, I did that.
Pretty great, eh?
Yeah, it was a great day.
Okay.
David Lamb said no personalization needed on that.
Is this on? That was on Grendel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bill, I have to go. It's not because you're here. I promise.
Okay. All right.
But I just wanted to say bye. Thank you so much, Matt. It was so fun watching this all happen.
Thanks, Annika.
Bill, I'll see you like in 8 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, look, I didn't wear itchy and scratchy.
Yeah, I didn't draw that one.
Damn it. I'm not wearing anything. Itchy and scratchy. All right. Have a great show, guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye, Annika. See you
Bye,
soon.
Annika.
David Lamb says, if anybody makes it out to Western Massachusetts, there's a huge collection at the Rockwell Museum. You can also visit the Turtles' home turf.
You mean the band?
I'm not sure.
Or the Ninjas?
I don't think it would be the Ninjas. They're not from Massachusetts.
They're also not real, so.
Who's that?
Agree to disagree, Bill. I'm not even a Turtles fan, so I don't know why I'm dying on this hill.
Oh, you one more, buddy. One more, but more.
TMNT, I guess. Yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I didn't know they were from Massachusetts.
Yeah, they don't have an accent.
Yeah.
First art lessons I ever took were at the Brandywine Art Museum in very bottom of Pennsylvania, and so the museum was just full of these original Howard Piles and NC Wyeths, and I can distinctly remember sitting and staring up at the Flying Dutchman, which is one of Pyle's most famous pieces, and it was just magnificent.
Wow. Do you know if that's still there?
I bet, yeah.
Where in Pennsylvania did you come from?
Originally, kind of right in the middle, right near State College, which is where the main campus of Penn State is. And you wouldn't know it. I always say to people, do you know where State College is? Yeah, okay. Well, I came. There's a little town near it called Lewistown,
Okay.
and there's a little village near Lewistown called Reedsville, and I grew up outside of the little village near the town near State College.
I'm from New Jersey, so I'm familiar with Eastern Pennsylvania. Some of the things over there.
Well, I find that refreshing, Matt, because it seems like so many of the great comic artists are from New York or, Brooklyn. So I love it when somebody, of stature actually comes from a little town that you have to describe by comparing it to multiple nearby small towns.
I like when it keeps going too. Well, okay, so there, State College, but then there's a town outside of that. Well, then there's a village next to that.
It's getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
And if you go 5 miles outside of that, there's a a mailbox that.
If you get the Blue Balls, Pennsylvania, you went too far. We used to, my wife and I would occasionally go out to the Amish country out there.
Yeah.
We always stayed. We always stayed in either Blue Balls or Intercourse.
Our house was right in Amish.
Those are 2 towns in Pennsylvania, in Amish country.
That's a real place, huh?
Yeah.
My dad had a horse, so we spent lots of times in Amish tack shops. Where they handmade bridles and saddles and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, we used to have fun going out there. I was out there one time with a friend, and we actually saw a buggy tipped over.
Oh yeah, uh-huh.
And we went and we saw the guy trying to help and trying to get it up. So we jumped out of the car and helped him, get it back up stable. And he jumped in it and left. Never said a word to us. We were like, thanks. But that's how the Amish are. They stay quiet.
I tell you, years later, when I saw the one of my favorite films, the Peter Weir film Witness with Harrison Ford, I was like, "Holy shit! They got all that exactly right. Like it's exactly like that."
Yeah, I read that book, and the book was fantastic.
Oh, I didn't know there was a book.
Yeah, before the movie, it was a book.
Huh.
I get all my Amish information from Kingpin.
Me too. I know they bowl 15
the Farrelly
frames.
Brothers movie. Okay. I'm like, was the Marvel villain like formerly an Amish guy?
Oh. No, the Randy Quaid.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew what Rumspringa was until I saw that movie.
Rumspringa.
That movie's just unbelievable. So good.
Ernie McCracken. Such a classic. Bill, do you have a shirt like an Ernie McCracken shirt? If anybody did, it would be you.
You mean like a replica of...
Or just something similar to it?
I don't really remember what it looked like, but I probably have something similar.
Yeah, it's like kind of a black Western style cowboy shirt, I would describe it.
Oh. Is that the Woody Harrelson character?
No, that's the Bill Murray character.
Oh,
the
the Bill
bad
Murray.
guy.
Okay.
I was going to say Bill has the bowling ball with the rose in it, though.
I've always wanted a bowling ball with something in it.
No, mine's an eyeball.
And
Mine looks like a giant eyeball. So what, Matt? Since I came in late, what previous characters have you done tonight?
I'll just flip them up here for you. First was Etrigan,
Oh, cool.
and then Firestorm.
Great.
And this one's not quite done, but Epi Thatcher version of Grendel.
Uh-huh.
And then that one.
Okay. Fantastic. So it sounds like people have been throwing you a few curveballs.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Part of the fun.
Yeah, I like that.
I have a question for you, Becker. You see that?
I already answered it if you look to the next.
Okay.
I like that they now allow you to write in StreamYard. I don't know if you know that for like your guests. Like when you bring me in, I can't usually comment, but now they
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, so now on my end I can type directly into StreamYard and post comments.
StreamYard is trying to update their platform with different, like these layouts. I can create these layouts, these custom layouts. So that's why I have experimentation going on with these things. Trying to figure out which one's the best. They can say
Scott Sloan's comment. At least I didn't ask for pie or request pie.
You would have gotten the same response.
Negative.
Yeah.
Negative.
Or you could just draw the symbol for pie.
Yeah, that's true. I could have done that. Wasn't thinking quick enough.
That would be the quickest $300 ever.
There
that was one of those freebies. Remember I do the freebie ones?
Right.
Yep.
Somebody's always got to be different.
At least you didn't get any Jack of Hearts or Galactuses. Those are always fun.
Emilio says he only has 2 freebies in his collection. And he likes the layout with us and little windows on the left side and the artist big in center.
I don't recall asking Emilio what he liked.
I think he's just talking about StreamYard options.
Yeah, he's talking about this layout right here.
Hey, there you go.
But Bacon pointed out that we're so tiny.
Yeah, we are tiny. Where are we? I don't even see us anymore.
I see us.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
Oh, fireworks at Disney are going off.
Bill must be looking at something, but he's got that superhero pose right now, like he's cocked his head to the side and looking.
If you put his hands on his hips.
Yeah.
He's just giving us that Bill Morrison profile.
I'm Bill Morrison.
And you're not.
I'm actually coloring a print that we're going to have at the table at Comic-Con.
Oh.
Only if you finish it.
Jeez Louise, Ken.
Wow.
Listen, this was his idea. Which one are you talking about? He had 2 or 3 of them.
Futurama.
Oh, okay. The one you had this weekend?
No, different one.
I thought you were making the adjustment.
No, I decided to go a different way.
Gotcha.
Besides, that one this weekend was supposed to be an exclusive, so
Oh, look at that.
Okay, so this
I
one
kinda
had to
forgot
do
about
the, had to
that.
do the undercoloring first.
Wow.
oh
Doc
my god,
Savage.
wow! What's that done in?
Those are just colored markers.
Just markers?
Yeah,
Okay.
gray markers. Yep.
Jason Harris is adding Jack of Hearts to his list of characters, Kim.
That's a good way to not get any sketches.
Scott Sloan says, nice. Emilio, too. Everybody liking the Doc Savage. Well, that's good, Scott. We're glad you're happy with it.
So, Matt, do you know why they went from him having a normal kind of hairstyle to that stylized skull
Yeah,
cap?
it was to cash in on when they started reprinting those. Science fiction was kind of big, so they felt it gave it more of a science fiction sort of vibe.
Oh, okay. I remember when I started reading the Doc Savage comics. I think it was the ones that Marvel did. And I don't think I knew the character much before that. But, he was Doc Savage, Man of Bronze. And I never really knew if he was like actually made of bronze.
Yeah, because of the pointed hair, right? You thought,
yeah,
is that like a lid? Is that?
Yeah, it was kind of shiny.
Yep.
And but I thought, well, no, it's probably just like Man of Steel. With Superman, he's not really made of steel, but then they colored him kind of bronzy. Like he had a real orangey kind of tan. So I could
that's the way he's supposed to be in the books. That's the way they describe him.
Yeah. But I remember as a kid just being a little confused. I didn't really know exactly what his deal was.
Wind blowing. Well, it got quiet. This would usually be where Jeff shines.
Yes, Jeff does shine in these moments.
Scott Sloan says the fur vest killed me.
The fur vest.
What's
Doc
that?
Savage.
Oh,
Doc Savage, got it.
what's the fur vest?
He wore a fur vest.
He did?
I guess. I don't understand the reference either, but I'm guessing Scott's talking about Doc Savage. She's the one that requested this piece.
Oh, okay.
In the Marvel color comic.
Oh, must have missed.
He was always wearing a fur vest.
I thought that was Frankenstein.
Justin Washburn asks, Matt, who are your favorite illustrator collaborations?
You mean if he's talking about people that drawn my work or drawn my scripts? I've had a lot of them, so it's hard to spotlight. Again, I have this new project coming up with the multi-talented Kelly Jones, and that's been phenomenal. But other than that, I think I'd have to point to Guy Davis and the work we did on Sandman Mystery Theater. Guy's just an effortless, wonderful craftsman, and just is so able to capture the personality and the inherent realism of life in the 30s, unlike almost any other artist I've ever known, truthfully.
He said his are McEwen and Meralt.
Oh, Miro, yeah, Bernie Miro and Pat McEwen. Bernie drew the third Grendel arc, The Devil Inside, and Pat McEwen drew War Child. And yeah, both of them tremendous artists. You couldn't choose two more diametrically opposed artists, truthfully. So it's neat that those are your two favorites, because that's a testimony to not only your tastes, but kind of what Grendel has been able to do over the years. With really kind of spotlighting these very, very, very different stylistic approaches to comics and storytelling.
And Avi asks, any new artists you are impressed with?
Any new artists I am impressed with? Yeah, nobody's leaping to mind. That's due to my own ignorance more than that's not really a commentary on the state of the industry or people's abilities. There's some really just fucking amazing artists out there these days. I'm just not up enough on the contemporary scene.
I agree with that, Ken.
So I get a good idea sometimes.
Scott says, sorry, I've got to run from what I've seen. It looks awesome.
Here,
Well,
I'll
he'll
flash it
finish-
up before you go. I'll flash it up here again as it's getting closer.
And he would like it. Scott would like this personalized, please.
Got it. You got it, Scott. Thank you.
For this last claim, we're going to do something just a little different. We're going to put everybody's name on the wheel who puts a claim in. So if
There
hung
you
out
go.
this-
So sticking
share.
with the stream pays off. Everyone that wants one will have a chance to get the final spot.
But only if you didn't
That
get one.
seems fair.
After the second one.
Go now or wait? Do you want to just do
Yeah,
a
no, go ahead. Go ahead. I think now's a good time. I'll be wrapping
Yeah,
this up.
and I don't think we need a line since it's just everybody, right? Let her rip, guys.
Let her rip.
Jason Williams, I'll get you in there. Oh, there it goes. I was like, maybe everybody left.
Oh, there's still way more than 5, but okay. We're going to give everybody a shot.
Okay, let me know when you're ready, Ken.
1 second, buddy. I just really need first names.
First name and the last
And
initial.
the initial. Yeah, that'll work.
All right.
Ready when you are.
Jason W.
Jason W. Yeah.
Rom.
Yep.
Dagny.
Got it.
David D. Dustin W. PJ. Philip Q. Victor B. Jeremy.
Is that Jeremy Mayring?
I'm not sure. And then Avi. Jim M. And I think I got everybody else.
Bacon.
Yes, I concur.
You guys want in?
That's it. That's it.
All right, last call. Put a claim in right now. No, Jeremy Joe is what he said, not Jeremy Meering.
All right, guys, ready? Last spin.
Here we
boy.
go. Good luck, everyone, and thank you all for turning out, and thank you for supporting the National Cartoonists Society and my Kansas City homie. Dagny pulls out the win. And what did you say Dagny's name is?
Nikolai.
Nikolai. Nikolai, I will see you in a few weeks, and congratulations. Get that order into us. Tell us what you're getting.
Here's this guy already.
Oh, wow.
That's
Very good. Very nice.
Man, you are quick.
Kirk, are you KC too?
So, Bill, what are we doing next week in San Diego? Renee's coming.
I'm standing behind a table most of the time, or hopefully sitting more than standing, because that means I'll be doing commissions.
Renee's coming.
Yeah, I heard Renee's coming. That's great.
Yeah. So,
Dagny says Dr. Fate color.
Got it.
nice.
Oh,
So she
nice,
can watch-
Kurt. I'm over in I'm on the Missouri side. Dagny and I will both be at our Nikolai, and I will both be at Fountain City Con.
Next
So if
week.
you see me there, say hey.
Where is Fountain City?
I think it's Gardner or New Century. I don't know if they're. It's Kansas City. It's out in a rec center, kind of.
Oh, okay.
It's a smaller Kansas City show,
So
but they've got some good names coming.
I did a convention recently for the second time at the high school where I went to school, where I graduated from. It's in an area of Michigan, kind of the Detroit area called Downriver, but the city is Lincoln Park. So I graduated from Lincoln Park High School. And a few years ago, they started having a comic convention there every year in the gymnasium. So I was the headliner at a comic convention at my high school gym.
God, that is amazing, Bill.
Yeah. A little bit surreal.
Yeah.
You know, sitting there at my table, I look to my right, and there's the rope I used to have to climb.
Did you give it one last go?
No. I think it was over somebody. It was over somebody else's table, so kind of hard to do that. But no, it was just weird, you know, because when I went to high school, I mean, I wasn't bullied or anything because I like comics, but back then, before all the great movies and everything, it was, you know, if you read comics, you kind of kept it to yourself.
Yep.
So the fact that, you know, I got to be at a comic convention, and the whole reason I was there is because I drew comics and read comics, and people came to see me, you know, people that I went to school with. Just kind of, I don't know, I guess there's some irony there, but also some justice, I guess. I don't know. It was fun.
So, Bill, I got a funny story about that. So, same thing, keeping it to yourself. This new kid moved to school when I was in junior high school. You know, we had a small little clique of comic readers, but again, we kind of kept it cool and kept it quiet. This guy he had this real loud, abrasive voice, deep, kind of raspy voice. And he talked really kind of loud. And he was just really loud about it, right? So I remember during gym class, we'd be playing dodgeball, and he wanted to get out. He didn't want to play. So he'd go right up to the line and he'd taunt all the jocks on the other side with comic facts. You know, Hal Jordan is the Green Lantern. Hawkman comes from the planet Thanagar. These guys be like, you You son of a bitch! And they would nail him with the ball, and he'd get to go sit down.
Oh,
That's
hilarious.
genius.
And that boy grew up to be Krusty the Clown. Hey,
He did come see me at another con years later after I hadn't seen him in 25 years or whatever.
Yeah. Had he changed much?
No, thinner hair.
Yeah.
Justin Washburn asks, "What is Matt's favorite Grendel run looking back?"
They're all kind of my favorite at the time. I've talked about this in the past, but my Hunter Rose was obviously a bit of wish fulfillment for me. I came from a small town and didn't enjoy the kind of urbane life that Hunter finds himself in eventually. But I was dating a woman at the time. We had a on again, off again thing all through college, and she had a child that wasn't mine, but we got back together, and all of a sudden she had this young kid, and so for the first time I got to see kind of the fierce, protective, maternal aspect of things up close, and that led to Christine Spar, and then we broke up, and I felt very alone in the city all by myself, and that led to Brian Lee Sung, and I later married into a Catholic family, and that led to God and the devil. So it's all important to me right at that moment.
That's interesting.
Emilio asks, "How many Grendels are there currently?"
Well, in the future, there's thousands. There are 6 major Grendel incarnations, but in the future, of course, it becomes a social rank and a title. So there's lots and lots of different Grendels.
Have you and Bill ever worked together?
No, we haven't. Bill's offered me a chance to do something for their Halloween book, but I don't know. I just don't think humor's quite my forte, so I always just kind of bow out. Thanks anyway, bud.
It's not for everyone, but
yeah.
That's what I figured. It would be a treat.
As some of the people who accepted my offer found out.
Ouch!
No, we had really we had some great artists and writers who kind of surprised everybody because they were known for doing more serious things, and turns out they were pretty good at humor.
Okay.
But not everybody was, and some people got kind of lost. And as editor, I always tried to be kind of hands off and just let people have fun and do what they wanted. But there were a couple of times where people came to me and they were like, "I'm not sure what I'm doing here. Can you, give me some guidance?" Because they make it look easy on TV.
Yeah.
And then when you actually have to write one, it's like, oh boy.
Justin Washburn asks, "Were you trying to outdo Miller when you did the 20-panel grid?"
No, not particularly. I was just always trying to do something different back in those days, and I wanted that one to be a police procedural, and in fact, it was 25-panel grid. I wanted that one to be a police procedural, and so I felt like those were the building blocks of the mystery. That once Grendel shows up, they start to crack apart, and when he enters the scene, he's larger than the mystery. He cracks all the reality.
Is that the record, Matt?
I don't know. Records are made to be broken. Well, it's my record. Put it that way.
I remember a Radioactive Man story where I think Steve Vance wrote it. And I think he was sort of channeling Bernie Krigstein. But I think that might have only been a 9-panel grid. I used to have a rule at Bongo that if anybody went beyond 8 panels, they had to have a really good reason.
Did it happen often, or at all?
Well, it kind of happened in the writing sometimes because sometimes we would hire writers from the show,
Right.
not from the Simpsons show, but from Futurama, or from just in general animation writers who weren't really familiar with doing comics, and so they would write it kind of like a TV script, but they would write it page by page, and you would, as the editor, you're reading this going, holy crap, there's no way
this shit's gonna fit on there.
Yeah, this is not going to fit. You're going to have to, we can't add pages, so the only other thing to do is just cut. So that was a little bit of a learning curve for the writers sometimes to realize, you had to be judicious with your visuals as well as your text and your dialogue. And of course, there's always, the panel where like a character's expressing 2 emotions or 3 emotions in the same panel.
Yep.
Or doing, 3 different things. So that was always a problem with writers that weren't really familiar with comics.
It's a very unique art form, and it has its own language, and it ain't film and it ain't prose.
Yeah. And there really is an art to it. Not just, people think of art as the drawings, but, it's just the storytelling. Matt, will you be at San Diego?
No, we were talking about this earlier. I'm going to be at a gorgeous lake in Northern California that we go to every year. I'll be sitting lakeside and swimming all day long.
What's the lake?
Lake Almanor.
What vicinity is it? Like way north?
It's near Mount Lassen.
Okay.
So I'm in Oregon. So we drive south and then we get just past Mount Shasta and you turn inland for about an hour and a half.
Oh, okay.
Hello, Facebook user. They say, "What up, Matt and team? If you back out and give StreamYard permission, we'll see your name. Otherwise, just you can also write it behind whatever you're writing. Just let us so we can say hi back." And thanks again to everyone that turned out and got pieces tonight. Thank you to everyone in the chat. And thank you to Matt and Bill for stopping by and saving the silence.
Well, Bill also got us, Matt. So,
well,
Matt.
I want to say, as the vice president of the NCS Foundation, I want to just echo that sentiment. Thank you, Matt, for giving of your time and your talent
to
the foundation and everybody who's participated. Thank you so much. This has been a great endeavor, and we couldn't do it without 4C. And how much money did 4C raise for the foundation last year, Ken?
it was around 35,000.
Yeah.
Right on.
So this has really been something, and I can't thank everyone enough, especially you, Matt.
Well, thanks, Bill. Appreciate that. And lots more to come.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Ken kind of alluded to it earlier tonight, but we're gonna do a big show coming up in a couple months. So as soon as we announce that stuff, we'll let you guys all know.
It'll be a remote show.
Oh boy.
Yeah, did you talk about that at all, Ken?
No, I didn't.
You want to talk about
Come
it?
on, give some spoilers.
Oh,
Reward the people who stay.
Oh, I'd let you do it.
Okay. Well, we have coming up. Some people know about the National Cartoon Society. Not everyone does, but it's an organization that's existed since 1946, and it came about when a bunch of cartoonists who were helping the war effort by visiting soldiers in hospitals and doing sketches and cartoons for them, and also going overseas with the USO, discovered that they liked each other. It was like the first time these famous cartoonists had ever gotten together, and they had been sort of rivals.
It is a solitary profession.
Very much. But they discovered, they made friends with each other, some of them. And when they got back, when the war was over, they said, hey, let's keep this going. So they started the National Cartoonist Society and very quickly started giving each other awards. So the original name of the award was, why'd I even start saying that if I can't remember what the name was? Anyway, it was named after one particular cartoonist the first couple of years, and then they changed it. They named it after Rube Goldberg, and they called it the Reuben.
Oh, that's how it came about.
Yeah. So from that point on, every year we have a convention in a different city. It used to always be in New York because that's where all the cartoonists were. But thanks to Mel Lazarus I think in the early 80s, he had moved out to California, and he decided, I don't want to put on a convention in New York. It's a lot of work to have to do cross country. So I'm going to do it here in California. And then he did it on cruise ships a couple of times. And kind of from that point on, all the presidents got to decide what city they wanted to have the Reubens in. And I chose Portland one year, Memphis. My first year was actually Memphis, where I put on a closing night party at Graceland. Elvis's.
Oh, great.
That was a blowout. Anyway, this year we are in Jersey City, New Jersey, mainly because New York City is too expensive. So we do it in New Jersey. We've done it a couple of times there, and it's great because we can do events in Manhattan without actually being there in a hotel where it's a lot more expensive for the members. But 4C Comics is going to come along. We're going to do a silent auction, which actually everybody who has internet access will be able to participate in initially. And we're going to be doing some live sketch ops. Is that right, Ken?
Yeah, it's the plan.
We decided on that. Okay. And so it's kind of cool because usually the convention is sort of a closed event just for the members of the NCS. But for this particular one, we're opening it up and allowing not only members who might not be able to attend this convention, but also just to fans and art collectors, etc. And that will be in September.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to, every year, guys, we do like a sketch con with multiple artists and stuff. Well, this year we're going to do it live from the Reubens. So we're going to hopefully schedule a bunch of guys to come on and sketch like Matt is right now. And we'll have a place hopefully set up at the event for people to come up and if they want to, and maybe draw. And then the next day will be the art auction for pieces that were donated to the National Cartoonist Society Foundation. We're going to do a live auction show on 4C Comics and CAF Live, I believe. Talked to Bill Cox about that. So we're going to do a live auction on there. And then when that auction closes, we're going to go to the live auction, which is only at the event during the cocktail hour at the Rubens. And then that'll be that. And if anybody at the Rubens wins, they get their piece. If anybody who won online, we'll let them know the next day whether they won. And then we'll be able to ship all those pieces out to you guys and hopefully raise a lot of money for the foundation.
That's cool.
Billy D. Beck was the name of the original cartoonist who the first award was named after. I knew it would come to me. Anybody know who Billy D. Beck was?
No.
Okay. Well, that's why we changed the name of the award to the Reuben after Rube Goldberg. I think everyone knows who Rube Goldberg was.
Yeah.
If you don't know who he was a cartoonist that did crazy contraptions designed to be as complicated as possible, but performed a very simple task. And it was a comic strip, but it's also that concept has appeared in movies and art pieces, all kinds of things. So it's usually referred to as a Rube Goldberg device. Anything that's unnecessarily complicated.
There we go.
Have you considered maybe combining the names of the two awards from Beck and Rube to the Becker Awards?
I have now. Yeah,
I'm just saying, I think people would like that.
I will suggest that and get back to you once I get an answer.
I told Bill I want an honorary Reuben, but now I kind of want an honorary
A Becker.
yeah, Becker. Here you go.
I don't need either. Just bring me a Reuben sandwich.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yes, if those of you who haven't picked up that part, Bacon will be with me, joining me. So yeah, all those live streams and stuff. I'm sure we'll have Becker and Jeff and Annika will also be on, but Bacon and I will actually be in house, and we're thinking about doing maybe something a little special on our drive when we're leaving. We'll see. We'll see if we can work that out.
Oh, come on, Linda. Linda Craig says, narrator, Bill did not suggest that.
Suggest what? I missed that.
Oh, at the point where you were telling me that you were going to take it under consideration and suggest it, and Linda Craig said, narrator, Bill did not suggest that. Now I kind of want a Reuben sandwich, Bacon.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I'm hungry.
100%. Exactly. We're all like that. We're all like, we're hungry. Bring it on.
As soon as we're done here, I'm going to order there's a chain, a burger chain here in Portland, and they just opened one about a mile from my house called Killer Burger.
Ooh.
Their signature burger is, strange as this sounds, a peanut butter pickle bacon burger.
Ooh.
Is that what you get?
It is remarkably delicious.
Oh.
Good.
How much are flights to Portland?
My
Well,
wife.
Ken, we've been trying to convince you to go to Rose City for like 4 years now. So
Where?
My wife's favorite sandwich is peanut butter, sweet pickles, and tomatoes.
And this isn't, it's a peanut sauce. It's kind of, it's not quite a Thai peanut sauce, but it's not just straight peanut butter. It's a concoction. Boy, oh boy, is it good.
Sounds it. I know one thing I won't be doing in San Diego is In-N-Out Burger.
ooh, I will be.
That was a disappointment.
That was your first last year, right?
Yes,
I don't care.
and my last.
I don't care. It's happening again this year. You know it is.
You're that disappointed by In-N-Out Burger?
No, I'll have another one.
I've
If
never been a fan.
If bacon's going, I'll have one. But
They're okay.
I don't get the fuss about it. I mean, it's just it's a burger joint.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
a special one.
I don't either. I think the best thing about In-N-Out Burger are the fries, to be honest. But
are we going to
But
get
sometimes a place just gets that mystique. Like out here in Kansas City a few years ago, Whataburger moved here, and everyone just lost their mind. Now nobody goes to it, and it's just like every other fast food restaurant. But for that first year, like people lined up every day.
It's like Krispy Kreme.
Yeah.
Same thing.
All right,
yeah,
this is progressing.
Oh wow, very nice.
It's fantastic.
Oh man, the design on that—that's one of my favorite things about your work, Matt. Is the design. Everything's got like a beautiful
balance.
Yeah, balance. It's not always symmetry. Sometimes it is, but it's always got a nice balance to it.
Excellent. Well, I think Matt's just about done, so we're probably going to end the show. Want to thank Matt, obviously, for coming out and doing this for us and helping us to raise some money for the National Cartoon Society Foundation. Thanks, Bill, for stopping in. It's always a pleasure.
My pleasure.
Haven't seen him in a while. I can't wait to see him next week. Becker, always fun, and Bacon. He's not even paying attention. And Annika and Jeff, thanks for being a part of the show too tonight. But again, thanks everybody. Don't log off yet, Matt, when we close out. And want to thank everybody for coming out. And we're going to have a show on Thursday with Ian Balam.
Yep.
And he's going to do some live sketching. We're also going to drop some pages from some of those hot Marvel books he was on. We're also going to open up a commission list for
Nick Varela, guys. Nick Varela is going to do some full bodies as well as the 250 bust that she did the last time we opened up a list. So the bust will still be $250, and the full bodies, like the one that's on the screen, will be $350. That's it, guys. So
and can I remind everybody that I have a CAF Live event this coming Monday.
Yep.
Yeah, CAF Live with Bill Cox on Monday night at 9:00.
Yes, there you go. That's
appreciate you.
Thanks, man.
With on CAF, and we love those guys. Thank you, Bill, Bill actually helped us promote this event, so thanks, Bill, for doing that for us. And we'll always help you out anytime we can. But again, thanks everybody for checking us out, and we will see you on Thursday night.
Thanks again, everyone.